And it is a football Monday, but with tradition, Big Sills. Oh, and by the way, I want to do a PSA. Some of you may not know what this is. It's a public service announcement. All Philadelphia Eagle cheerleading tryouts can be submitted with a video, and I think it's by March 23rd on the website. So if you're looking to submit your cheerleading video to become a cheerleader, you have to do it by March 23rd. Or you're not going to be able to, get your application in for you to become a Philadelphia Eagle pom-pom waver, and without a doubt, one of the great, great cheerleaders of all time. How do you know? If you don't submit it, hey, man, it's a public service announcement for all Eagle cheerleaders. Get that video in by the 23rd. Get that video in. It's just a couple days away, man. I mean, holy cow. We got a certain guy in our network that's really great at videos. Got to get that in by the 23rd. That's all I'm saying here. That's how we start. Auditions, too, after, by the way. It's a pretty difficult process to make the Philadelphia Eagle cheerleaders. Okay? Remember that. When you're a cheerleader, it's a 24/7 thing, man. That's a big deal. To be called like a Howard Eskin, they're called the Eskins. Do you know that? They're called the Eskins. The Philadelphia cheerleaders are called the Eskins. This is a big deal. This is one of Philadelphia's great honors, to be called an Eskin. Okay? This is enormous. What's this say here? Colangelo doesn't like your Hurts hate, Big Sills. Well, he ain't going to like this show then. Okay? Sills, about the... Oh, I'm saying, hey, get that video in. With all the bells and whistles, Sir James and Xander and all the young pups know how to do all that shit. Me and Angelo are just old school dudes, We look at what shit is, We don't drive around in yachts and BMWs and flex in front of the mirror all day and eat goat balls and whatever the healthy things kids eat today. We're just old school dudes, That's all I'm saying to you. This has been one of the funnest times I've ever seen when it comes to covering a football team. Yeah, rah, man. Maybe that's how I should start my show off. Rah, and go Eagles. How you doing? Rah. Howie's signing some dogs. Howie is signing dogs. Dead dogs. Like when you throw the Greyhounds in the ditch. Holy shit. When's he going to address his defense? Hey, Chris goes, wait a minute, Sills. You drive. Hey, Hollywood Sills, you drive a Hummer. I owned a bitch. I've owned it for a couple of years now. Give me a break. What's wrong with a Hummer? Doesn't everybody like a Hummer? Mine's yellow. I like a Hummer. Who in their right man-card mind would not like a Hummer? Okay? M. Reyes says worst ride. No, not the worst ride. You mean gas mileage. Seals, you saying the Cowboys win in the East? I don't know, man. Maybe Washington might win the East. Siri Liar stay in the Eagles makes a deep playoff run. Yeah, okay, let me get into the topics. So, how about there's some conversation out there right now that Justin Fields and the Eagles were talking about potentially coming to Philadelphia. And, of course, the Philadelphia media is going to spin it, where it was said that he didn't come to Philadelphia because he'd be a backup. Well, wait a minute. You could have benched Jalen Hurts at any time last year in that 8-game stretch where they were 1-7 and he sucked out loud. You could have benched him at any time. He stunk. Don't you understand? This guy was second in turnovers in the league. You keep telling me how good he was. How come he couldn't stop the slide? Good quarterbacks do that. Good players find a way, not him. And then he gets blown out and destroyed by the Bucs. Everyone's making an excuse because it's March 18th, but when he was in the middle of it, you knew he was blowing out loud. Now you're going to sit here and give the boy wonder or / 1 year wonder all of his flowers because he was good 2 years ago. This is a league on what you've done for me lately, guy. You guys like celebrating Brandon Graham, don't you? Because of what he did. I'm talking about Brandon Graham, what he brings now. Nothing. You're celebrating and you love a player like Brandon Graham and Jason Kelce. You know why Jason Kelce should be still on the Eagles? Because he offers something. Graham offers nothing. Leadership and, talking to the fellas. That didn't matter last year when you were melting down at 1-7. Those are the facts, friends. People keep projecting. Hurts is going to have a turnaround year. I don't talk like that. Who are you now? As far as I'm concerned, you've had one season. You are right now in the world of you could be considered a 1-year wonder if you flop again. Do I think he'll flop again? I don't know. Not a fortune teller. I'm not a fortune teller. But yet you want to sit here and project, well, he's going to look good this year. 9 turnovers. I don't know that. I know what he is right now. This is what he's done. This is who you are. And that projecting, that's the shit that's gotten the Eagles in problems before when they're projecting instead of paying for reality. TJ Watt was a good player. Pay him. No, we could probably get somebody better. That's projecting. Wrong. You failed. You couldn't even replace Kaiser White. And you're trying to that's projecting. I project that Nakobe Dean, there will be no fall off from him to TJ Edwards. There was a massive fall off. Facts. Get this. This is nothing about being a Swami. This is nothing about prediction. This is what you did. You talk in theories. I talk in actualities. This is what you have done. This is who you are. Well, Sills, can you project? No. Nobody's a fortune teller. Why don't you take a look at that 2021 draft and ask yourself, here's a great spin. Take a look at this. Okay, how many people think that this kid, Caleb Williams, is the first pick in the draft? I'll make this point to you. Did you think Caleb Williams had a better college career than Bryce Young? I don't. You think Bryce Young looked better at Alabama than Caleb looked at SC? I do. I do. Are you going to try to tell me that you're going to project that Caleb Williams has more to offer than what Bryce Young did? He didn't have a better career. He wasn't hyped as much. How can a guy make the playoffs 3 years in a row in his third year as a playoff starter and be a 1-year wonder? You mean like Dak? I saw Mark Sanchez make the playoffs in his first 3 years. I saw Mark Sanchez get to a couple AFC championship games. I wouldn't hang my hat on that. Mark Sanchez, I believe his first 3 years, he went to the playoffs. Right? I mean, okay, I don't think Hurts is trash. Once again, I've been consistent. Not a guy I build my team around. I have to have too much around to do. I'm going to get to that here in a minute. So you guys project that this guy's going to turn it around. I'm going to tell you who he is right now. Let's do this. Okay. You think the reasons that the Eagles pulled back because Howie was afraid Justin Fields would look better than Hurts does in this talented offensive huddle? And you think that's why they pulled the deal back? That he might look better? How can you say no? Here, let's do this. Don't you think, like, how many people think that Brock Purdy has done more in 21 starts than Hurts has done in his 3 years already? Okay? They're the same guy. Do I think he's a superstar quarterback? Not really. Because he's got a shitload of talent around him. There's nothing different from him and Hurts. So the Eagles have Brock Purdy. Has Sanchez ever gotten an MVP vote or named an all-pro team? I take Jerome Brown and Dan Sileo over anybody. Thank you. Thank you. No, but Brock Purdy has. Shit, Brock Purdy, man, in his first 2 years, look at that playoff record even. What Jalen Hurts is Brock Purdy. There's no difference. Star receivers, star tight end, star back, better O-line in Philly. Am I wrong? What has Jalen Hurts done more than that guy? How do you know he's not Brock Purdy? Actually, Brock Purdy hasn't played awful yet. Your guy has. Okay? Your guy has. He has. Runner-up MVP. Super Bowl. All the talent. Throws the ball. Superior to Jalen. Both teams are the same, Flexen. How do you know that? Philadelphia's got Brock Purdy. Just in a different version. An RPO type guy. Same guy. So when you look at Brock Purdy, do you go, that guy is a guy that could carry a football team to a Super Bowl win? Well, if you say that about him, you're saying that about Hurts then too, right? Because Purdy and him are the same because they have the same talent. I'd say the 49ers even have a better defense, and that leans more to the point that Jalen couldn't stop the mess last year because of the shitty defense. They kind of are the same dude. Oh, you get this. Nobody in here is going to admit this, that you have Brock Purdy in Philly. Well, I'm going to show you do. I'm going to show you do. Let's take a look at this. How many Pro Bowlers did Jalen Hurts play with this past season? 6? 5? There's not one in Chicago. There wasn't one in Chicago. So let's do this. Let's make some comparisons here. By the way, do I think Justin Fields is a great player? No. But put him on a better team. I'd like to see what he can do. Jalen Hurts in Chicago would beat Justin Fields. Okay, here. O-line, 4 Pro Bowlers to 0 for Fields. Running back. Justin Fields was the running back. He had 657 yards on 124 carries in Chicago. Hurts had DeAndre Swift, 1,049. Tight end, Goddard, 59 catches, 592. Fields, Cole, 73 catches, 719, and 6 touchdowns. Not awful. As a matter of fact, Cole Kmet outplayed Dallas Goedert last year. That's a waste of $15 million. Holy shit. About time to move off that guy next, too. Wide receiver. Pretty compatible here. Check it out. Justin Fields is such a shitty passer. DJ Moore had 96 catches for 1,364 and 8 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, 106 for 1,456. Holy cow, he made the Pro Bowl. Wait a minute. If Fields only had 2,562 yards and 16 touchdowns and 9 picks, that DJ Moore got his numbers like AJ gets his. Interesting. Devontae Smith, 81 catches, 1,066. Some dude named Darnell Mooney, 31 catches for 414. What's the guy's name? Darnell Mooney? Murray? So Fields doesn't have a running back, and he doesn't have a number 2. But Hurts has all this, and one of the top offensive lines in the National Football League, now Saquon Barkley. And you're going to sit there and tell me that Justin Fields has an opportunity in Chicago to fucking succeed when he had nobody and he's the running back. And you're going to sit there and go, well, he sucks. Hey, he did suck in Chicago. But I think anybody would suck. Patrick Mahomes might be the only guy that wouldn't suck in Chicago. Oh, his name is Mooney? Okay, sure. The point, again, I'm not making a case here that Justin Fields is better than Hurts. I'm making a case. Don't sit around telling me that Jalen Hurts is this superstar player when Jalen Hurts is a superstar player, and it does matter. Because Justin Fields never got a legitimate opportunity with legitimate talent around him and a legitimate play caller around him. They just fired the entire offensive staff. And he got a defensive-minded head coach who's going to be canned at the end of the year. Do I think Justin Fields in the time of his career right now is better than Hurts? No. But I don't sit here and think that Hurts is some sort of superstar player. He could carry a football team to save his life. Or wait, he could carry a football team like Brock Purdy can. Brock Purdy and Hurts are the same dude. It's just different. He's just different. Try to sit here and tell me, well, he's going to be. How do you know that? He's had 3 different years. The one thing that he has been, as Barb would like to say, has been non-consistent. Every year has been different. First, second, third. Actually, polar opposites. I mean, sometimes guys give you you know one thing about Kirk Cousins? He gives you consistency in who he is. At least you know there's a reason that guy makes that kind of money. You know why? He's who he is. And as Jerry Jones says, he keeps you around the rim. Again, do I like Kirk Cousins? No, but he's at least consistent. Steve goes like this. Not consistent because they keep changing the OC. No shit, they can't keep anything sustainable because of the way they're operated. They don't believe that the coaches are that important. That's why they change them out, success or non-success. It really doesn't matter. Okay? Your Hurts is a young player still. Des, completely true. Completely true. But I don't believe there's a giant. How many people believe that there's just some sort of massive ceiling for him where he's going to be a 4,500-yard passer like when McNabb was never anything like that? Then all of a sudden, after 3 years of completely different football, you think this guy's a 4,500-yard passer and a 35-touchdown guy? Not happening. Not happening. I showed you a guy on the Bears, and the Bears blew. Almost had 100 catches and 1,400 yards, the same as AJ. And that guy threw for 2,500 yards. Doesn't really matter, dog. It's the team around you. when you're a quarterback, unless you're Mahomes. That's the big deal here about Patrick Mahomes. You know why it's hard to catch him? Because the league can't spend enough money to catch him. And every time they do, they get banged against the cap. And guess what happens? You have to start releasing players. Bro, Purdy has had the same play calling for the last 3 years. Jalen has had to learn from someone new each year. Stop blaming him. So wait a minute. He can't overcome shitty coaching too? Why are you paying him $50 million? Are you crazy? Don't run the play. Audible out of it. Hey, no. Be a leader. So you would let someone drive your career into the toilet, right? Is that what you're saying? Jalen, according to Prince, Jalen Hurts is cognizant of the offensive play callers driving his season into a turnover machine year, and he's good with it. Is that your contention? You understand what Prince is saying? Hey, the coaches are calling it. Well, here, Slagger, I'll ask you guys. If you knew that your boss was telling you to run into a burning flame, would you because he told you to? Would you run your career into a fire? Do you? Would you run your career into a fire because a guy told you bad ideas and gave you bad direction? You would. What an idiot. Who in their right mind is being paid? Okay, so Jalen's cognizant of the ineptitude and he's going along with it? That's not leadership. That's a follower. You're exposing your guy. The more you people open your face. You know what? I heard Patrick Mahomes, when Andy Reid says, is that guy will change plays consistently out there. You know what that comes from? Not trusting your quarterback, and the coach is not trusting the quarterback. You got to be cool with implementing and adjusting in-game adjustments. So that's right. I told you this a year ago. One thing is for sure. They put this game plan together on a Saturday night, and they run it on a Sunday instead of going with what's out there on a Sunday. And the new scheme put on you, and what happened, Sills? Did it make you better as a player? That's my mistake, Prince. Prince, that was my mistake. Thank you, Prince. He's dead on. When I got put in a 34, I ran my career into a fire. Thank you, Prince. Yes. That's where I'm coming from. You're right, Prince. You know, Prince, thank you for doing that. Because I've told you guys, and I have to humble myself to that. Yes, they drafted me 56. They gave me the money. Did I fight it? No. I played it, and I was done. True. So wait a minute. Let me get back to Justin Fields. You know why Justin Fields why do you think Justin Fields went to Pittsburgh instead of truly? Why do you think he went to Pittsburgh instead of Philly? Why do you think he went there? This guy had nobody in Chicago. Now they just trade for Keenan Allen, I think. Q says Tomlin. Probably some truth to that. Tomlin versus Sirianni? Think of that. I know Big Bill thinks that Nick Sirianni, he thinks he's Vince Lombardi. But you don't go and play for a lame duck coach if you're Justin Fields. You go to Mike Tomlin. I'm not trying to criticize you excessively. I'm simply emphasizing the importance of coaching. And Prince, more so where you go. See, Prince, the fundamental problem in Philly, can I tell you what the fundamental problem in Philly is? The head coach is not the play caller. Regardless what Big Sill says, Jalen is 100% on the hot seat. Every offensive position is Pro Bowl level. No excuses this year. Thank you, Big Fish. Dude, that's listen, what I'm saying to you about Fields, Bill asked me something earlier, and he goes like this. You think Fields is good? No, I don't. Sirianni blows. That's put on the Tony Montana Goodyear blimp. The world is mine. Sirianni blows from Xander. Like I said, when I'm talking, no, I don't. But he never had a shot to succeed because just like Prince said, he got put into a situation like I did in Tampa, and you can't succeed. It's impossible with bad coaching and bad players around you. It's impossible. Okay? Sills, what if Eagles traded for Pickett if Hurts falls on his face? They probably did. Some of you are going to go like this. Well, Pickett's not good. If Jalen Hurts has 18 turnovers again, he'll be benched. And it's over. Do you understand that if Jalen Hurts has a high turnover season again, he's fired? They're not going to bring him back. And they set the contract up for that. This is simple, dude. Hurts bounces back. I sure hope you're right. I don't want to cover a shitty team. 1 minute he's riding the Hurts train. What minute was that? What minute could that have possibly been? That he showed really a great stretch? Dude, I saw Mark Sanchez and Brock Purdy show me a great stretch of wins. So? Dude, honest to God, Jalen Hurts is Brock Purdy. He's not better. He doesn't do one thing better except run. Not one thing better. Not one thing better as a passer. Nothing. Zero. And yeah, he's a better runner. So is Justin Fields a better runner. Okay? I don't like Brock Purdy. I think he's okay. Brock Purdy could eventually become the future Kirk Cousins. This is not about sitting here. What has happened here when it comes to it? You know what's crazy? People really are trying to give Jalen Hurts more flowers for the talent around him when anybody could come in here and they would be better at the position and throwing the ball than him. He is awful at throwing it across the middle of the field. He's awful at screen passes. He's awful at blitz pickup. I don't know what else to say. Oh, that's coaches. Okay. So Jason Kelsey, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, and Jordan Mailata and Cam Jurgens, they suck, and the play calling sucked on all of those guys, and everybody is part of going along with a suck-ass plan. Congratulations. You all failed miserably, including the quarterback. I mean, You put the blame on two people when this is an organizational decision that caused this meltdown. And all of a sudden, you're going to go because Kellen Moore, and somehow you guys have tied in that Kellen Moore is Ernie Zampese, or he's some sort of North Turner, Kyle Shanahan type play caller, or Sean McVay. And he's not. That's insane to think that. He's had no playoff success. 0 playoff success. Kellen Moore has been awful in the playoffs. Oh, that's Dak, right? And in Philly, he'll be better with Hurts because Hurts is better than Dak. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that. Sills, he got to a Super Bowl. So did Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo. Remember when Chris Sims said Minshew could make the playoffs with that at the Eagles team? He was right. Colts almost made the playoffs with a worse roster. He could have. Justin Fields could make. Hey, how many people believe that Justin Fields, with his running ability and his marginal passing ability, the Eagles would still make the playoffs in the NFC? I believe they would. I don't know if they'd win 12, 13 games. Oh, that's right. You won 11 with that talent. Oh, I forgot. Okay. Last season, he was never compared him. No. Once again, Eagles a dickhead and doesn't get it right. Steve Young and Joe Montana, their first seasons as starters in San Francisco, do not compare to how Purdy has started his career. It's not a comparison when it comes to ability. It comes to the team's success that he's having with the team compared to those two. Try listening. Stop lying, because you know what you do? You sound like bloodbath hoax. Okay? That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay? It's a lie. So when you do this, okay, when you do this, once again, I'm not sitting here telling you Justin Fields is some sort of superstar, but I'm telling you this. I'd like to see what he could do. And he went to Pittsburgh. Why? The head coach, and they don't give up on talent in Pittsburgh. And I think they like him. Whereas the Eagles are going to play Hurts no matter what, even if he stinks. They're not going to play Russell Wilson because Wilson has to show the Steelers that he can get another contract and get another big deal and sign a deal in Pittsburgh, and that the Steelers want to keep him. Worst offense in the league? They were 8th, the Eagles. You had 3 Pro Bowlers in offensive positions. Running back, quarterback, and wide receiver. You were 8th. I mean, what are you talking about here? It doesn't, because he has all the guys around him, that doesn't really matter. Really, when you have more talented people at anything you do in your life around you, compared to when you're with people who stink. Cowboys had number 1 offense. He leaves, and they still have the number 1 offense. Yet Eagle fans give Dak none of the credit. Was it Dak or Kellen? It was Dak. Oh, okay. Dad says that he wasn't second in turnovers. Okay, he had 18. Whatever 18 is next to Allen's 20. He had 18 turnovers. You can rank them all you want. Okay? Kellen Moore helped in the development of Dak? Probably. Okay. But to what end? How can you not see Kellen Moore help? How can you not see Kellen Moore helped in the development of Dak Prescott? I didn't say he didn't. I'm saying that he was better when he left. He had a career year. Am I wrong? He had a career year. Dude, this can't be that hard here. Now let's do this. Good. Right on time. Let me ask you something here. Where's that list? Perfect. So according to you guys, the Eagles, Justin Fields didn't want to play in Philadelphia because he felt he had a better chance at starting in Pittsburgh. Let's just say that's true. And you guys, in your fantasy football ways, believe that. And so they decided to trade for Kenny Pickett. Okay? Let's just go along with your fantasies. That they went, I evaluated and I scouted, I'm talking Howie, Kenny Pickett personally when I flew up or drove up to the UNC Pittsburgh game. Remember that? All right. Since 2000, let me ask you this. Since 2000, with Howie Roseman and Joe Banner and the analytics and the quarterback guru known as Jeffrey Lurie and all the wisdom that they have at the NovaCare Center, how good do you think the Eagles are at actually evaluating the quarterback position, period? What grade would you give them since 2000 on evaluating the quarterback position? What would be that grade that you would go, wow? Like Belichick at least has drafted starters and the GOAT. Okay? So when they say they signed Pickett instead of Fields, did they make the right choice? So Jason says C+, C-, B. John Kitna was responsible for Dak's growth. Look at Kyle. He thinks 25 years of drafting quarterbacks is incomplete. When you've given 2 deals out of almost $500 million, he thinks that's incomplete. Says, why are you not blaming the coaches in any of this? I am blaming the coaches. I'm blaming the organization for the way they do operations. Since 2000, give them a C+ or B-. Look at that. Not good. C-, maybe B-. All right, let's take a look at that. I wrote them all down. And let's do this. They added Michael Vick. So, they took a gamble on Michael Vick when, Vick was coming out of prison. That's a big deal. That's a big deal to me. Okay? Let's do this. Let's see how some of you guys say B-. Okay, 2001, A.J. Freedley was a 5th rounder in 2001 out of Oregon. A.J. Freedley was a journeyman dude. Bounced around the league. I mean, he's like Tommy DeVito, not a little better than Tommy DeVito. Let me make a comparison. Chase Daniels? Nah, he's better than Chase Daniels. A.J. Freedley? I don't know. Josh Dobbs? Okay, something like that. Josh Dobbs? Andy Hall, who's that? He was a 6th rounder out of Delaware. Who's Andy Hall? Okay? Who's Andy Hall? Kevin Cobb. This guy stunk. And he was a second rounder like Hurts in 07. He stunk. Okay? I don't give a shit what you got for A.J. Freely. A.J. Freely's career was nobody. He was a nobody. I'm asking you, the player, not what you got for him. He was a nobody quarterback for you. He was a nobody. Kevin Cobb, second rounder. I mean, how did he play for you at quarterback? I'm not asking you why are you changing the goalpost? I asked you how he played for the Eagles, Kevin Cobb. How good was he? Good or bad? How good was he? He wasn't very good. Was he good in Philly, Kevin Cobb? Mike Kafka, 4th-round pick, 2010. I'm proving the point you can't draft quarterbacks. These people brought no playing value to your team. No playing value so far. Howie's in the room. A lot of the same people are still in the analytics department. Let's keep moving on. Nick Foles, Arizona, 3rd-round pick. What do you make of that pick? Maybe had the most inconsistent time in Philadelphia Eagle quarterbacking history. Had the highest of highs in the franchise's history and had some of the lowest lows of franchise history. He couldn't keep a job. And the Eagles didn't think enough of him to keep him, even after he won the Super Bowl. So right there in a nutshell, the organization, I think they should have kept him. And here's what I say. So the Eagles have drafted all these guys, and the one critical decision that they had to make in keeping a guy who could have got the Eagles to 2 NFC title games if Jeffries doesn't drop that pass in New Orleans. And they decide to go with Wentz. Right there. Do you think the Philadelphia Eagles are good quarterback talent evaluators? Yes or no? You realize about 80% of all quarterbacks drafted don't amount to anything league-wide. Okay, fair enough. So far, I really haven't landed on anybody that's been of significance, except for Foles' win. And the colossal mistake that Howie and the organization made, and the owner, on moving off of Foles. Right there in a nutshell, do they evaluate quarterbacks, and do they make the right decisions about their quarterbacks? Yes or no? So when you talk to me about Justin Fields versus Kenny Pickett, how do you know they're doing the right thing? They haven't displayed it yet. Go with human nature, not with what you think they'll do next year. Do what the organization has done for 25 years. Look at their behavior, their mannerisms, how they act. And as my good friend Bill would say, look how a criminal or a person has a profile of what he does on a day-to-day basis. This is not a one of. A.J. Freely has brought nothing to your franchise. Andy Hall, who? Kevin Cobb stunk. Mike Kafka, whatever. Foles, you made a bad decision there. Matt Barkley, 4th-round pick, Southern Cal. Who? Oh, yeah, I remember him. Kind of. Carson Wentz, 1st-round pick. That thing couldn't have been handled any worse by the player and by the organization. It couldn't have been handled any worse. Both people were responsible. Wentz probably more. But it was a collide. The coaches were at odds with the GM. There was discord in the locker room. Well, I mean, okay, over a quarterback. Over a quarterback. And by the way, wasn't an awful 5, 6 years, whatever it was. You won a Super Bowl. He helped you win home field. I mean, he has the single season passing records for yards and TDs. Okay, for a short period of time, he was accomplished. He delivered something and helped deliver something no other quarterback in Eagle history had ever done. Okay, and again, started great, ended horrific. That's the epithet on that guy's stone in Philadelphia. Plain and simple. Again, I'm telling you on March 18th who he is. Okay? Again, this topic goes into the Eagles believe they know what they're doing at quarterback, and they don't. They have not displayed it in any way possible. That's why when you say to me, Jalen Hurts is going to be, how do you know that? You've had limited success at best in your 25-year history since the dude's owned the team since 2000. Am I wrong? Here, let's go to another one. Clanton Thurston Howell III out of Northwestern. Thornton, 5th-round pick. Who? And here you got the boy wonder, Jalen Hurts, 2020. 3 different years. Then now you got Tanner McKee, 6th round. Look at these names. A.J. Freely, Andy Hall, Kevin Cobb, Mike Kafka, Nick Foles, Matt Barkley, Carson Wentz, Clanton Thornton, Jalen Hurts, and Tanner McKee. These are all the quarterbacks that you guys have drafted since 2000. And you're trying to tell me they make proper decisions at the position and they know what they're doing. Name me one position that you think they've done the right thing at for long term since 2000. Name me one. Don't say Hurts. You don't know that yet. Coming off that year. You don't know that yet. You flip-flopped on Wentz. I'll show you how bad you flip-flop on this kid, too, if your guy comes out and throws another 18 turnover year with that talent. So, it was classic listening to everyone talking about, well, Justin Fields sucks, Justin Fields has nothing around him in Chicago, and that does matter. That does. Even a limited dude with limited talent is going to win with that talent. Even a guy like Minshew. Sitting there telling me. So, if you're going to tell me, well, hey, he made those players around him better, then so did Brock Purdy. So Purdy made all those players like Christian McCaffrey better too then, right? You can't have it both ways. Is that right? Same thing with Pickett. He had no one around him. Little better O-line, but here's the thing, Steve. Better coaching. Was in Pittsburgh. One thing I want to make it very clear here. I'm not telling you that Kenny Pickett or Justin Fields are superstar players. That's not anything remotely close to what I'm saying. But the environment and where you're drafted and where you go and who's coaching you is an enormous influence on what you look at. Chicago. You want to know? I guarantee you, if you put the quarterbacks that they have drafted since 2000 on a piece of paper, you'd probably need a vomit bag. Honestly, you probably would need a vomit bag. I'm not saying that the Eagles are like on an island by themselves when it comes to evaluating that position. The quarterback position is very difficult. But don't sit here and tell me, they got the right guy for the organization in Kenny Pickett. How do you know that? Their history doesn't prove that out, that they know what they're doing at the quarterback spot. Okay, listen, Kyle's missing the point. 3 Super Bowl trips in that time. You really think that they've evaluated the quarterback position enough to sit here on a Monday on March 18th to tell you that they did the right thing with Kenny Pickett instead of getting Justin Fields in the building when they can't pick a quarterback or make a decision to save their life? And they pollute their own environment with Carson Wentz. And right now, last year, would we not agree? Most of you just got through telling me, did they not hurt Jalen Hurts' development last year, the Eagles? Here, let's do this. Do we all agree? Management and coaching. Steve, would you say this at least with me? That management of the Eagles and the coaches of the Eagles hurt Jalen Hurts' development as a starting quarterback. How many people in here would at least agree with me on that? Okay? Other than Kansas City and the Patriots, LJ, at least that guy drafts starters and people who have won division titles and taken other teams to Super Bowls. Okay? Okay, look at everyone. Absolutely agreed. So, Wentz is better talent than Hurts. He's a better passer. Hurts is a better leader. Absolutely. All I'm telling you is, okay, so you guys agree. Management screwed up. Sam, screwed up Jalen Hurts last year. That's been my point here. That's the point. This is the point. With this offense, I truly believe most quarterbacks will thrive. Too much talent. Kirk Cousins would throw for 6,000 yards in this offense because he's a superior passer than Jalen. Thanks, Steve. Okay? Too many cooks in the quarterback. Okay, Steve, you're validating my point. How do you know they know what they're doing in development of these quarterbacks? When they're constantly rolling out OCs, changing the environment as, what's the guy's name? Jeff Kerr, that goes on with Birds 365. They don't build sustainable football teams, and they're not very good at quarterback decisions. And you sitting there telling me you think Jalen Hurts is going to have a turnaround year when they haven't displayed any quarterback that they've ever drafted having turnaround years. How do you make that proclamation? Why? Because you wish it? I hear people on my network, Jalen's going to have a turnaround year. Where in the history in the last 25 years have you seen the organization turn a player around at that position by making proper moves? Whether it's coordinator, talent, what have you. So when you talk about building an offense or a guy moving forward, how do you put that together when they haven't displayed that at any time in their entire 25 years? Where do you see that? And it's the same owner and the same mentality. Remember something. Joe Banner came out of a personnel decision. And Howie came out of putting contracts together. So when people go, get this, you want to hear this is even more insane. You're giving Howie Roseman credit for doing his job because that's his job. He's a capologist and came from financing. He didn't come from personnel decisions. So congratulations on doing your job well. Okay. So you're really good at cutting deals. You're not very good at drafting defensive players at all. You have not really helped the defense yet. The restructuring of the Sweat deal and the Gardner-Johnson deal, those are solid moves. The Sweat deal's really good, keeping them in the building. The Gardner-Johnson deal is kind of a risk. Remember something. Here's the problem that you get with Gardner-Johnson. If Gardner-Johnson doesn't get you 6 picks this year and he has 1, he's not worth the money. Remember I said that. If Gardner-Johnson doesn't have 6 turnovers and he doesn't have that, that's not a good deal. Okay? Out of position numerous times. Gets turned around in pass coverage. He's a playmaker. Okay? Bill said the Eagles are the best team. Okay, sure. That defense is the worst defense in the NFC for any playoff contending team. They made a lateral move with Bryce Huff. Reddick's not going to be here. You have addressed in the linebacking position. Who'd they sign over the weekend? What was the kid's name? What was that dude's name they signed? The guy from the Niners. Orenthal James. What was it? What was the kid they signed? Oren Burks. Not bad, but once again, he's a backup. He's special teams. And as you say, he's depth to Zach Cunningham and Nakobe Dean. That's who he is. He's depth. Yeah, they signed O.J. Burks, Orenthal Burks, and he's depth to Zach Cunningham and to Nakobe Dean, 2 stiffs. Stephen, thank you for reminding me on the Super Chats. Chicago Bears haven't been able to develop a quarterback since Sid Luckman. I bet Justin Field looks a lot better as a Steeler because the Steelers are a real franchise. Absolutely, they are. Well coached, putting things together, believing in players. Stephen from Florida reminds me, we will always read the Super Chats because, and we got back on that last week. Hey, however, when I do have guests, please don't send them, okay? Because I can't get to them. This week we have, or today we have Gary Cobb at 4:30 and Merill Reese will be with us at 5:30. So Jalen's supposed to carry the worst defense? Dude, he had 3 and he couldn't put more than 9 points up against the Bucs. What about his 18 turnovers? What'd that have to do with playing center field with the defense? How about being almost last when it came to blitz pickup? How about having an 8 quarterback rating over the middle of the field? What's that got to do with defense? I mean, did the Eagles score 10 points against the Bucs in that playoff game? The Bucs previously, against Carolina the previous week, beat them 9-6. And then they dropped a 30 burger on you. I mean, the Bucs and their turnstile O-line destroyed you. How funny. Hey, Justin Fields, hey, get this. Shit, AJ Owens would absolutely love Justin Fields as a quarterback. He got DJ Moore's numbers. Oh, he'd love him. Just throw it over to AJ. And AJ go home with his numbers or go up to Atlantic City when the team's down in Tampa playing and he's up there drinking Mai Tais. It's my team. Look at it. Quite a teammate. Gotta love it. Guy's drinking Mai Tais at a bar in Atlantic City, and his team's fighting for the playoff spot and fighting in the playoffs, and his team gets rolled, and he's drinking Mai Tais. Hey, man. And that's the captain. Don't forget it. That's the captain of the team. How you doing? Sales, moving forward, stop looking in the past. I'm not. I'm looking at the Justin Fields, Kenny Pickett deal. Because it's funny how the media in Philly likes to change a story like MSDNC and like CNN, the Clinton News Network. Those two places on how they try to change a story. Fields knew he couldn't start when he came to Philadelphia. He just knew it. Because why? Your guy's some superstar player? He's not. Nobody would ever in a million years call Jalen Hurts a superstar. He's not. He's a really good player. Superstar? No, I don't think so. Is Brock Purdy a superstar? They're the same dude. They're the same guy. Woo! Come on now. Seals, do you think, here, I want to make it very clear. You're not saying Justin Fields is a good player. No. You're not suggesting that Kenny Pickett is going to beat out Jalen Hurts. No. Jalen Hurts, here's what's going to happen. Okay, here's what's going to happen. Kenny Pickett's not going to beat Jalen Hurts out if he has another shitty season. Jalen Hurts is going to lose his position because he's who he is. This is all on Hurts. It's not going to be on Pickett, whether he's good or not. Kenny Pickett will start this year. Will all be contingent on how Hurts plays. Is that fair? Hey, by the way, if I were you, I wouldn't play Kenny Pickett in the preseason. I wouldn't, because if he starts looking good, woo! Pickett season. Who's more reliable quarterback, Jalen Hurts or Baker Mayfield? Steven, let me see Mayfield do it again. Let me see Mayfield do it again. We're going to throw flowers at May. Hey, great year. Got $100 million contract. But let me see another year. Okay? Let me see another year. Okay? Of course you would, Joe. Okay? You like communist. Let's see here. I cannot believe I'm going to quote the great middle schooler known as LJ, but Big Seals, you're a flip-flop. You said Purdy was better than Hurts multiple times. Now they're the same player. I don't know if that's a bad thing. He had a better year, so he was a better player this last year, and I'm saying they're the same guy. You have a problem with that? What's wrong with that take? He had a better year. His team went to the Super Bowl. He had the least amount of attempts, and he was third in passing yards. He threw for a boatload of touchdowns. They won a boatload of games. They destroyed you. I'm like, are you suggesting that Jalen Hurts was great in that 49er game and that he didn't have a better year this year and that those guys are pretty compatible with what they've done so far and the players on their team? I'm not getting what you're saying. Hey, Rackstraw, cornerback from Missouri, looks like a pretty good player. He may be down there at 22 at the time. Okay? Okay? Yeah, he may be down there. Okay? 49ers are a joke. Well, they turned you into an ass beating. Okay? 49ers are a joke after you get crushed by Brock Purdy and the fellas at your own barn. It's one thing to get beat up in your own front lawn, But the Eagles got beat up in their own front lawn by Brock Purdy and the fellas. Did you not? Yeah, Brock Purdy came and saw the Eagles, and Bill and the boys and all them guys got their ass kicked on the Eagles' front lawn. Damn. Hey, man, at least you get your ass kicked. Don't get beat up on your own lawn or in your own driveway. I mean, come on now. You know, you want to take it down to the beach or something. You don't want to get your ass kicked in your own lawn. Marcus, man, I'm a hater? No, I'm a realist. Calm yourselves, guys. Let's see how this thing plays out. I have my serious doubts of the boy wonder. Yeah. Jalen's cape. Holy shit. Batman. That's what I'm going to say. Jalen Batman Hurts. You got it, man. The boy wonder. That's what they call him now. Absolutely. The boy wonder. Gotta love it, man. Can't wait for what's to play out this year with the boy wonder. Woo! One of the best offensive coaches on the planet, Kellen Moore. One of the greatest head coaches, percentage-wise of all time. Shit. Okay. Shit. Are you kidding? Absolutely. This is what haters do. What's that? Point out facts? Hey, you know what? I tell you, man, I'm starting to love. You know what? I got to be a little bit like Elon Musk. You know why? I don't go along with the plan. You see? I don't go along with the plan. That's all I have to say. I'm not part of the plan. I'm not part of the plan. That's why when you come here, we just give you the facts. Absolutely. Brock Purdy season. Brock Purdy hurts. Jalen Purdy. I don't know. They must be related. I mean, they look alike. 31 today. Sil's blessed to have you. You're tough on us because you care. I do care. My Facebook wish is for White and Barkley to poop and all shit. What are you doing, Earth? Give me a break. I mean, I'm supposed to read these, but, Sills, how far can the Eagles move up in the draft if the Eagles trade Reddick on draft night? Let's talk about Reddick next. Let's do that. Hit the like button. We'll hit on Reddick because I do think he's an important pre-draft piece. Okay? Gary Cobb, 4:30 from Fox 29, and the legendary Merill Reese at 5:30 Eastern Time will be with us. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News?
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Gary Cobb, 4:30. Merill Reese, 5:30. Eagles still with $40 million, Ron? Cap space? What could you do with that now? Trades? What are you doing now with that? I mean, there's nobody out there right now that of any significance. $40 million in cap space? Okay. So you didn't reinvest enough in the defense unless you're going to make a trade? When somebody tells me the Eagles have $40 million with what's left in free agency, do I care? Or are we just going to go bargain shopping with the $40 million? What are you doing with it? Are you reinvesting in the team? Or are you saving that money to pay potentially Devontae Smith? And by the way, I hear people saying that, hey, the Eagles would be in their best interest to cut a deal with Devontae Smith now. If I'm Devontae Smith, why would I cut a deal right now? Give me the 5th-year option. I'm not signing a contract with you or anybody until Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are telling me what the market is. And by the way, he will get enormous shit from the Players Association, his teammates, and everyone if he takes a deal like that because he's fucking over the next guy. That's the conversations you have with the union. This is not about the Eagles. The best interest of the Eagles? Who cares? I'm about the best interest of the player. Okay? What's in the best interest of the player? And it's to have your 5th-year option picked up. And what? Okay, you want to give me $29 million, $26 million? Okay, I'll take that deal. But if anything short of $26 million, Justin Jefferson just turned down a $30 million deal in Minnesota. And people that are in the media in Philly are saying that the Eagles should sign Devontae Smith and take advantage of him right now on a cheaper deal when he's been the most consummate pro in your huddle, and you should take advantage of him. I'd have a problem with that, and I would disrespect you for that comment. Why should I take less money for you when the market hasn't even been set yet? Well, actually, it has. Because Jefferson just turned down a $30 million deal. And you want me to sign for what? 24? So I would cut. Think about this. I would cut $7 million off my salary potentially annually. Over 3 years, that's $21 million. You want me just to go, well, you know, it's the Eagles and Howie's Howie. That's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It's worth to take the 5th-year option if you're Devontae 1 year, then get an extension for 27 for the next 3. Okay? Taylor says Jefferson is worth $35 million. Okay? Am I suggesting that Devontae Smith? Here's what's funny about what's happened with the wide receiver position. Jalen Hurts is not a better quarterback than Joe Burrow or any of these. Who just signed a contract? Justin Herbert. You could make the argument that Jalen has had more success than Justin Herbert, right, over the last 3 years. Well, Herbert got more money. Because what? He was in they just restructured a contract for Dak. Next guy up. I'm not telling you that Devontae's better than Justin Jefferson, but he's the next guy up. And the wide receiver position is being paid almost like the quarterback position. Dude, the league and the Players Association, the NFLPA, would have a cow if he signed an extension right now before the market was set for him. It'd be a bad move. You think his agent is pushing him into a contract negotiations? I love how Eagle fans go, well, you know, he really loves playing here. Bullshit. He loves playing here. Sure he does. He loves the fans. He also loves being paid. Remember, professional football comes with pay stubs. That's also part of it. Okay? Let me sign a contract for $23 million. You know, and then we'll try to, hey, get this. The minute he signs a contract in Philadelphia, A.J. Owens is gone. Hey, let me get this right. You're going to pay 2 edge rushers, one guy $25 million, another guy $17 million. Your corners $14 and $13 million, and your 2 receivers $25 and $23, and your quarterback $50. Shit, what are you doing? You got nothing to show for it. You got a lot of money, a lot of regular season wins, and nothing to show for it. Damn. Might want to cash something in eventually, no? Say the same thing about the Niners. Time to cash something in, isn't it? Got all this money, got all this space, spending all these money on players. When are you cashing in? Okay? Jefferson's worth $35 million. He got 1,000 yards last year, injured. Yeah, I think in 8 games. Salute, my friend. $35 million under the cap. I think they're like closer to 40. Okay, what are you going to do? Hey, spin pad. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? What are you doing with the $40 million? I'm curious. A trade? I'm just asking. What are you doing? Are you trying to make a trade for Patrick Surtain? Okay. I'm completely open to that. Right? Shit, man. You got $40 million. You can fit that in there. Still not done? Spin bad. Well, it ain't free agency because there's nobody really left out there that I'm paying any kind of money to. I mean, what are you doing with it? Has to be something involved in a trade, right? Or are you just going to start going around signing, I don't know, what? More spare part linebackers like Orenthal Burks? I'm just curious. Hey, I thought Orenthal Burks looked good, man, when he got in there for Greenlaw in the Super Bowl. I didn't think he was horrible. Thought he was okay. I actually like Orenthal. Yeah. Orenthal Brooks. Quite a sign you got there, man. Then the kid, hey, between Orenthal Brooks and the guy from New Orleans, woo, man, improving that linebacker room like a crazy man. Can't get around it, man. Sills Pickett is not taking Hurts' spot. And I didn't say he was. I'm saying that if Pickett gets the job, it's because Hurts blew. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Hey, man, don't get it wrong here, man. I like the fact that Orenthal Burks is on the team now. He's a solid player. He's all right. Okay? How you doing? Orenthal Burks. There's your answer at LB to Jimmy Dean at linebacker. Jimmy Dean, that sausage. Hey, Xander, that sausage of a linebacker, Jimmy Dean. Hey, dude, he better play, man. I mean, look, can you imagine this if you had Jimmy Dean, Orenthal Burks right next to him, and then the great tackling machine known as Devin White. Holy cow. This is something else, man. 40 tackles, 1 pick. Yeah, not too bad. No, I'm sure, Twiz, he's probably the next Ray Lewis because he's coming to Philly. Sills, are you breaking our ball? No, I love Orenthal. I think Orenthal's good. I think he's okay. I don't think he's bad. Absolutely not. No, I'm all for Orenthal Burks to be in the Eagles. No. You got me way wrong here, man. It's a fairly decent sign. Put him right next to Jimmy Dean. You're ready. Let's get into Reddick. Okay? No, don't get – why are you saying I don't like Orenthal? Orn? Isn't that what it is? Isn't Orenthal and Orn? Isn't that the same deal? I don't know. I never got Jack and John with Kennedy. I never had that. But I'm saying that's Orn's got to be Orenthal, right? Orenthal Burks. Got to be the first Orenthal that you have on the team. Yeah. Orenthal and Jimmy Dean. Those are your linebackers. Woo. One thing before we move on to the Reddit conversation. Remember how I told you how bad the quarterback evaluation has been in Philly? It's not just a Philly thing. It's not a Philly thing. Okay? It's an NFL thing. Look at this 2021 NFL draft. Trevor Lawrence, first pick. Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, Trev, let's go. Let's go. Look at Stevens. Devin White is going to make you eat it. I sure hope he does because he sucked for 5 years. And the Bucs moved off him, and the Eagles signed it to a prove-it deal. I sure hope so. I sure hope Betty White plays better than he did down in Tampa. Come on, Betty. Let's go, dog. You're the 5th pick in the draft. Show me. Come on, dude. I mean, come on, Betty White. You got to show me. You got to be able to tackle and cover. Betty White, Jimmy Dean, and Orenthal Burks. We're working for it. Howie season. Howie season. Zach Wilson. They're telling him, get the hell out of New York. Trey Lance. Where is he now? Is he back up in North Dakota? Like, right? Isn't he like the new tour guide up there where Custer died? Isn't he up there now? Where's Trey Lance? I heard he's like a field guide where Custer died. Isn't that true? Where is he? I think that's in North Dakota. Am I right when I say that? Where Custer died? I mean, Or like the Mount Rushmore or some shit like that. What's he doing? Where is this guy? Trey Lance. Okay? Trey Lance. No play Trey. This guy's a tour guide up there where Custer died. Okay? Who else here? Justin Fields, who's just been moved to Pittsburgh. Little Bighorn. There you go. Little Bighorn. Hey, Little Bighorn Lance. That's him. Little Bighorn. Trey Little Bighorn Lance. He's a tour guide in the offseason because, he got traded to Cowboy. Oh, he's in Dallas. Okay, he's in Dallas now. Seals, wait a minute. I'm going to get to that Razor here in a second. Okay, no, let me get to it now. Let me finish this up here. Mac Jones, 15th pick out of Bama. All these guys blow, except Lawrence. We'll give you one shot left at the title. So, Razor, let me ask you. Bryce Huff, what does he do great? What's the one thing he does great? Okay. Betty White, Jimmy Dean, and Orenthal Burks. Eagle season. What's the one thing that Bryce Huff does well? Okay. Pass rush. Thank you, Razor. What's the one thing that Betty White / Devin White does best? What's the one thing he does? What's the one thing he does? Rush the passer. Way to go, CJ. Even the kid from New Orleans, whose name escapes me right now, what's he do? He rushes the passer. Okay. So all the skill sets that those guys do, Vic Fangio, Razor, doesn't blitz. Why would you sign people that have a different skill set than what the coordinator does? It's like hiring a guy who makes pizzas, right, to cook at a Chinese restaurant. All these guys do one thing great: get home. And Vic doesn't pass rush, and Vic doesn't blitz. And you got all guys who have a skill set that do everything opposite of the coordinator. And nobody could stop the run, which is a major problem. Because Eagles like pressuring the quarterback. I must have missed that one last year, especially the last 8 games. Huff is an edge. He's an edge. Get this. Slager goes, he's an edge who can't stop the run. They call him a linebacker, but that's not really, that's scary. Every single time, Slager, I see Bryce Huff on the field, whether it's 3rd and 8, I'm going to run at him. Do you understand? He's the worst edge rushing run stopper in pro football. The worst. Like, the worst. But the Eagles are forecasting. I think it was Xander who said this to me. Why would you pay a guy and sign a guy who you want to be like Reddick when you have Reddick? And you're paying him 17. Well, shit. You're telling me you don't want to kick up an extra 3 for Reddick? And try to negotiate something else with incentives to get him to maybe a number he wants? Look, I don't think Reddick is worth $25 million. And I don't think he's worth $23 million. Because he's limited. But that move makes no sense to me. The only moves that have made sense on defense so far have been the restructuring of Sweat and the Gardner Johnson deal I kind of get. And it's right, Joseph, and he's younger. Jay goes, Sills can't help himself biggest Eagles hater. Not being a hater, dude. I'm pointing out reality. Why do you want, okay, then Jay, you're signing Bryce Huff to be Reddick. You're not keeping Reddick. You're moving him. Now that Sweat's staying. What you have, Reddick. How do you know that guy's going to be productive like that? You're forecasting again instead of looking at reality on what is today. He's not consistent enough for you to sit there and say that Bryce Huff is going to be a consistent ball player for the next 4 years. Where in the other end, you have a guy of certainty that's been a model of consistency, and he's 29, and he's a guy that has helped you win an NFC title game. And you're moving off of that, forecasting, because you think you know you have the next Hassan Reddick? That's a really big reach. That's a big reach. And get this. I see someone going, and Reddick's not going anywhere. So here are you're going to be your outside backers. Two dudes who are terrible at the run and can't cover, and Nolan Smith. Okay, by the way, so you're going to start a rookie also at defensive end? You can't have Brandon Graham start. He's finished. I mean, that guy's on the last, he's on the last peg on your gas meter in your car. You're almost out of gas. You got 20 miles left. That's it. I agree, Rico. Howie lacks football IQ. Completely true on defense. More so on defense. He lacks the IQ to put a defense together. And I'm talking football IQ. People like Bill and them call him a magician. At numbers, correct. I mean, this guy's like a bookie. He's great at numbers. Okay? Do you think the Eagles should get Brian Murphy? No. I do think they should draft that kid. Chop Robinson out of Penn State, that edge kid. They're taking edge there. They have to. Unless they make a trade. Okay? Unless they make a trade for a defensive end, they're going to draft an end there, an edge rusher. I say that's 1,000%. You have nobody to play the Brandon Graham spot right now. And, you know, people are sitting here going like this. Well, wait a minute here. Wait, we'll just slide Milton Williams up. No, he's never going to do that. Because that means you have to sit either the 9th pick in the draft or you have to sit the 13th pick in the draft. Which one do you want to sit? That's an admittance to failure. You're not doing that. Guys are talking about the kid Verse. Dude, he's a top 10 pick. You're not trading up to get him. Kid from FSU, you can kiss that thing goodbye. Okay? Big Sales, no doubt the team is built with a bad recipe, man. Coach wants one type of player. Howie's loads up on the opposite. They need a big to set the edge. Yeah, you need somebody that's 6'4", 6'5", 275. You know, if you had to stand him up, you could in today's defense. If you want to slide to a wide 9 and do shit like that to hide Huff, yeah. Like get this. You can't put Bryce Huff on the edge and then have Nolan Smith out there. I'd run at that all day. I wouldn't throw the ball. I wouldn't have to. They're not good. They're not good. Duel says, I'm sick of the small edge guy. That is so true. Me too, Duel. Duel, you know, more so than anything, the one thing that really was a factor, and I'll give this to Brandon Graham. You know, the one thing he did exceptionally well? Think about what happened to the pass rushing front in 23, okay? Think about what happened, okay? In 22, you had Hassan Reddick with 16 sacks. And then you had, on the other hand, you had Brandon Graham with double-digit sacks, right? And you had Sweat with double-digit. So if you're an offensive coordinator and you're looking at that, they have so much balance on the edge. And the one thing they did so well in 22, they set the edge. Very few teams were able to get out wide in the perimeter against them. They did a great – they may not have been superstars when it came to stopping the run, but you didn't run wide on them. And they got home. Well, what happened this last year? Reddick struggled the first 5 games because of the cast on his hand. Once he got that off, Brandon Graham fell off massively. It was a cliff dive. Father Time didn't catch up. Father Time jumped on his back. He had 16 tackles. And he couldn't set the edge. Think about that. That entire side of the ball for a while struggled. And on the other side with Sweat, he had no help behind him. He had no help on the edge. He had nothing. Okay? Cunningham brought him nothing. The linebacking core didn't help Josh Sweat at all. And he had to play 325 different plays last year, more than he's ever played in his entire career. That shit adds up. Now you bring in guys who are suspect in the one thing that you need, setting the edge. Not letting dude, I think this is more important. I don't want guys getting wide on me and running up the sidelines versus a guy going right up the middle. Someone's going to make a tackle just because the amount of traffic that's in the middle of the field. I may give up 5 yards. That's fine. I don't want to give up 25 to a guy like Lamar Jackson next year when you got to play him. Who's defending Lamar Jackson next year? Honestly, Bryce Huff? Hassan Reddick? You think those guys who are horrible tacklers are going to bring down the MVP? Not a chance. Not a chance. You don't have anybody to match that kid up. Dude, that kid's going to be a terror. He's going to be a nightmare. Look at Crowley. Once again, I'm going to say this one last time here because I don't have to validate anything. What I don't like and what I like, you hear it daily. And some of you take the clips that James does, which are awesome. Because you know what James does? The clips are called teases, jackasses. They're teases. It's not the content of the show. It's like a lot of news sources today. You know, they take a clip and they tease it and you run with a narrative. That's not what I said. Okay? I've already said to Landon Dickerson. Why is the Landon Dickerson? Tell me why you think this. Why is the Landon Dickerson extension and the restructuring of the Josh Sweat deal probably some of the best things he's done in the last 2 years? Why do you think that those are two of the best? Okay. Why don't you just have a minute-long show every day and say the whole team sucks? That's not what I did here. Holy cow. Once again, people taking 5% of what they hear. And see, you listen to what you want to hear. There are only a couple teams that really care about defense. The NFL front offices don't care about defense. Roger Goodell wants to see scoring. Good point. Solidifies the left side. With what's left in free agency, who would you add? Sills, what about the kid from UCLA? I know who you're talking about. what's his name? Like Latu, something like that, right? The kid Latu. I think he's going to be I think he's going to go in the top 20. He could be there. Okay. Fans too emotional. Here's why the Sweat deal and the Landon Dickerson deal is spectacular. Okay? Again, I hate having to quantify my shit like this. But I'll do it this one time. Because they're reinvesting in their draft. And they're addressing it on both sides of the ball. People they've drafted. That's player development. That's what good organizations do. They reinvest in the people they invest in with coaching, time, patience, productivity. Anytime you get a guy on a second or third deal, that is a grand slam. If they happen to be Pro Bowlers, more power to it. But that's the success of a draft pick, is when you're reinvesting money instead of going out like Howie does and building a non-sustainable football team year in and year out. That's the kind of stuff that solidifies building a sustainable football team. Okay? The facts, look at my Dodgers, the model franchise. That's because Andrew Friedman, Gary, who's a friend of mine, helped build the Tampa Bay Rays structure into what the Rays structure is. The Rays structure is all down on the farm and player development, okay, at Durham. All those great players that the Rays get for their baseball organization, the majority of them are groomed in Durham. They're a AAA franchise. And that was all Andrew Friedman. Now that Friedman is in Los Angeles with an open checkbook and he gets to do that stuff, see, the one thing baseball has, they're all guaranteed contracts. You can't run from them deals. But do you see what he's doing? He's deferring money out like Ohtani's money. Good management. Andrew Friedman, in my opinion, I think he and Dombrowski in Philly, who I love, guys like that, okay, those kind of guys are worth their salaries 10 times over because they understand economics and they understand player development on the farm. The problem, I'll say it one more time with you, not to get into the weeds with baseball. The problem with the Phillies, prior to Dave Dombrowski getting there, remember, Dave Dombrowski delivered championship title teams type in Detroit and in Miami and in Boston. But the one thing that Philly, ever since you guys went to the World Series, you guys player development at the pitching position. That's why the Braves are dominant than you. The Braves invest. John Sherholtz told me years ago, they invest in starting pitching. They don't invest in position players. Very seldom do they invest in position players. That's why they can get rid of a Freeman. It doesn't matter to them because they invest in pitching. Okay? It's all about player development. That's getting back to the Eagles, why the Landon Dickerson deal and the Sweat deal is a good deal, because it's a homegrown dude that you reinvested in and gave him another contract. That's a big deal. Steelers are notoriously successful doing that. Big Sale's question, is it a player development or the draft picks aren't able to play? Eagles haven't been the model franchise since Reed. I think it's the turnover in their belief in coaching duel on defense. Here's why what Howie does is not sustainable. And I've told you guys this. It's more complex than just missing on a pick. Here, like I said, okay. And look, I'm not picking on him when it comes to the Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson thing. And I brought this up to you guys before. When you miss on a Jalen Reagor or you miss on a Justin Jefferson, look at how many years you would have got a $30 million player for free. 4, if you pick up the 5th-year option on Jefferson, 4 years of a $30 million a year player at $1.9 million. Think of that equity and money you save instead of giving 60 like you're over going the next 3 years for Brown. The Vikings paid about $9 million for Jefferson over the last 4 years. You're going to pay 60 for 3. Look at the economics you pay on a mistake for Rager. You pay financially in your cap because you have to go make a trade. And you have to spend dough. That's the miss on it, is the money. Dude, it's a lot of money to miss. And the cap latitude. Okay? Here. So when you trade for Darius Slay and you don't draft a corner and you don't take the kid that I told Xander, Xander hated him too, McDuffie, because everyone said he was too small. I said, I think the kid's going to be a stud. So instead of paying over the next 3 years, $36 million, you could have got that kid like the Kansas City Chiefs have him for $1.8 million a year. That's where the money and the balance of your integrity of your spending gets hammered. And you guys go, well, Howie's got $40 million. Okay, so get this. Howie's got $40 million left. What's he going to do with it? Are you really going to go bargain shopping for Orenthal Burks again? Is that the next guy? You understand what's happened here? Howie got outbid by certain guys he wanted, and he didn't want to go the extra mile to get guys like who's the guy in New York that did Brian Burns or Patrick Queen. They went cheap man 2.0 dollar shopping. Instead of getting Brian Burns, they got Bryce Huff. Instead of getting Patrick Queen, they got Devin White. That's what happened. That's what they did. I mean, am I wrong? Get this, guys. I'm pointing to Burns too much money for a 25, 26-year-old edge rusher that you could have only gave up a 2 and a 5 for. Well, wait a minute. KTP says Burns is too much, but you're talking about paying Reddick $25 million versus a guy that you could pay $27 million to, and he's your edge for the next decade? You think that's really too much? Well, you're not looking at it, Howie, right. Pay Devontae? I don't want a contract right now if I'm Devontae Smith. Not until I see what Justin Jefferson signs for. And the league will put, the Players Association, not the league, but the Players Association will put the heat on him. Bob says, Sills, I would gladly take the money paid to Saquon and give it to Burns. Bob, look, I want to make this clear too on Saquon. He's not a bad player. I think they overpaid the resources in the wrong spot for him. Okay, that's my take. Is that 13 could have went to Xavier McKinney. I know he got 17. Well, Howie. So guess what he did? Look at what Roseman did on defense. Instead of getting Xavier McKinney, he got Gardner Johnson on a cheaper deal. Instead of getting Patrick Queen, he got Devin White on a cheaper deal. Instead of getting Brian Burns or any of the other edge rushers that went early in the first 2 days, he got Bryce Huff. I mean, every deal he made was the second, third, or fourth, or fifth guy in free agency. These weren't premium deals, is my point. It's cheap. That's why he's got $40 million in cap space. And then everyone goes like this. Howie's a genius. By what? Taking the cheaper deal? And praying Bryce Huff's Hassan Reddick, who you already have Reddick on your team. You're going to have to explain this to me. That's why I go like this, and I pump the brakes and go, look, the talent evaluation on this team when it comes to personnel at many key positions, it's flawed. Their quarterback evaluation, they've made numerous mistakes with Wentz, with Foles, with Hurts, just to name 3. Moving off of Foles and keeping Wentz was a mistake. The Jalen Hurts, what did you do last year? You gave him his buddy as his coordinator. I mean, just in a couple right there. I mean, you could just name those 2. And in your evaluation of the players in the last 25 years has not been good. I'm supposed to believe they're going to save Jalen Hurts when they haven't saved one quarterback since they've drafted one. Name me one quarterback in 25 years they turned around. Who? For a 5-year stretch, name me one quarterback who once he had a bad year, they turned around. Name me one. Can you? They're not an organization who builds teams for long-term success because of the flubs on defense in the draft and at really key positions. Dude, you got to admit that Devontae Smith was a long time coming in getting a wideout right. Had to be over 15 years since Deshaun Jackson, no? Right? McNabb was in the 90s. I went back, I watched the last 7 games. Hurts was absolutely terrible. That defense was the worst in the league. Duel. This is why I say, okay, so Hurts is going to turn it around. A lot of people have wishful thinking on that. Fine. That's fine. You can have that and optimism. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just telling you, if you're here and you're listening to me, I'm just trying to point out what reality is. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. You guys keep making it seem that the Eagles make the right decision at quarterback when it comes to player development, play calling, constructing a game plan, the proper coaches around him. How many times have you told me already how many OCs he's had since he's been here? That's the incompetence of an organization. Jalen Hurts, let me see here. Nick, Steichen, Johnson, and now Moore. So he's had 4 coordinators. And shit, you could probably say Doug Peterson too, right? So in his time, in 4 years as an Eagle, he's had 5 offensive coordinators and 3 years starting. So in 3 years starting, a particular time, especially in that first year, he's had 5 coordinators. That's incompetence. Am I right? He's had 5 offensive coordinators since he's been an Eagle. Is that correct? Right? Who? Because he did play. Did he not start? That year, Wentz and him were on the team together. Did he not? Am I right? And you can correct me. I'm spitballing here with that. I don't. Did he start a couple games that year? I could have swore in that first year he started in 20. Then he started against like the Saints and the Falcons, and he had a stretch, and then they yanked him in the final game for whatever reason for Nate Sudfeld because Howie wanted to sabotage the team. So Kyle, he has had as an Eagle quarterback Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, right? Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, now he's got Kellen Moore. He's had 5 coordinators in 3.5 years starting in Philly. You tell me if you think that's competent. Five coordinators and 2 DCs. I mean, and you're trying to tell me that I'm going to sit here and go like this. How do you not feel optimistic about your Eagles when they have shown no signs of consistency when it comes to doing the right thing over a period of time? And then you point to the Super Bowl appearances. Absolutely. It's hit or miss. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you're either hitting the clay pigeons or you're not. I mean, this guy's like a shotgun. It's all over the place. It's not long term. That's why you see 5-win seasons or 7 wins or 6-win seasons. Still, the most disturbing thing that jumped on the screen, the Hurts not changing the play and rallying the team on the field and on the sidelines. Him sitting on the bench rolling his eyes. Duel, that's what I said. I mean, these guys here make Jalen Hurts sound like he's some superstar player. He didn't look like a superstar to me last year. Not at all. And you go, well, you think Justin Fields did? No. But Justin Fields had nothing to look like a superstar around him. This guy had 6 Pro Bowlers. Jalen Hurts played with 6 Pro Bowlers on offense last year. 6 Pro Bowlers. He had 1. No, he didn't have any. Moore didn't make it. Because the guys who made the Pro Bowl last year were the defensive tackle, Jalen Johnson, and someone else I think they made that may have made it. I thought Moore would have made it with that 1,300 yards. He played with 6. But, they're going to say that, if he does well, it's because everybody around him. Yeah, I will say that. Just same way I'll say that about Brock Purdy. Hey, Brock Purdy had a really good year. Well, you see who's playing with? He better. The financial commitment that you make to all those players like George Kittle, Ayuk, who you're going to pay. They moved off of Eric Armstead. Why? So they could pay Ayuk. The best thing about the NFC is the Niners are in it. They always be choking. Kyle Shanahan's got to win, man. I'm not going to deny that. Howie's like the guy who was negotiating with a hooker in Full Metal Jacket. $10. Me love you long time. Hey, Devin, me love you long time. No buku. Hey, did I say it right? No buku. Hey, Howie, no buku. No, not for $10. No buku, Howie. No buku. I actually like that movie. I actually know the drill sergeant. I worked with his daughter in Odyssey in San Diego. Howie, no buku on the guys you signed so far. No buku. I got to get to this Reddick take here. Yeah, I met that guy, that drill sergeant. Her daughter, she follows me on Twitter and Facebook. She was I think graphic designer. And her dad was that guy who played that drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket. And I met him. Great dude, man. Passed away since, though. Me love you long time. Howie, no buku, Howie. Sills, did you see the crab show in Dallas? What are you referring to, brother? Okay. Sills, you knew Arlie Army. Yeah, yes. Hey, Kyle, his daughter works with Odyssey. I think she still works with Odyssey. She got pictures of her dad, too, on her Facebook. Great person. Never seen so many haters in one space. What a way to sell narratives and clicks. Sheesh. Narratives? Wait a minute. I've never seen so many haters. I don't know what that means. What a way to sell narratives. I'm not talking narratives. You sucked at evaluating the quarterback position for 25 years. Facts. That's for clicks? You think, well, if the truth is for clicks, sure. Okay. Here's what I got to remember. March 23rd. Hey, Linda, March 23rd, you can get your Philadelphia Eagle cheerleading video uploaded so you can try out. Where is that? Hold on, Linda. Hold on, Linda. Hold on here. Linda, March 23rd, for auditions, you can send in like a video of you in your Eagle gear and your Eagle cheerleading outfit with the pom-poms. I would suggest big pom-poms. And you send that in as an audition tape. And then they'll call you back maybe because they're taking cheerleader tryouts. Hey, you better get there because I know my boy Bill Calarulo. I know he's got 3 in already. So all I'm saying is, okay, you better get yours in, dog. Okay? You better get yours in because Bill's going to be flooding the website and uploading that. You better get it in there. Hey, that's going to be tough there, man, with all the cheerleaders that you have, especially on IP. Holy shit, that afternoon guy on WIP, I'm sure he's got 17 in. Narratives. We all love building a winning football franchise, right? This is how you uncover what the F is the problem. That's right, Duel. Amen, man. Hey, Sills, if you build for long-term success, it takes Howie out of the spotlight. Oh, no. Bob, great at calculating. Great at calculating. Name the movie. Big Sills, some of these fans actually believe Jalen will carry people who won't give him credit because of his weapons. But true is, he has a ring. He won't bat an eye. Correct. If he wins a ring, all good. Dan, you forget to mention the free Brazil trip for the cheerleaders. Hey, man, that's enticing to go to Rio or Sao Paulo. That's cool. Get to be a cheerleader. Can you imagine Big Bill being a big old cheerleader down in Sao Paulo? Man, he's going to be a grand slam. All pale and white down there. Man, they're going to love him down there. Wow. He's going to be a superstar. Okay? Oh, yeah, superstar. Big old Bill. I actually like Bill a lot. I do. I actually do. Okay, let me take a time out. Hey, no. I'm not ready yet for Bill. No, I'm not. I have to. You see, you got to remember something with Big Sills. You know, I gotta be in the mood. I'm not in the mood right now. You know, you gotta entice me. You know, it's kind of like being at a strip club. Well, not that I've heard. You know, so it's I gotta kind of like be enticed. Okay? I'll get there. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, you know, people with gigantic pom-poms, which I do dig. I like big pom-poms. Okay. I have to hit the Reddick take. Don't forget Gary Cobb, bottom of the hour, Fox 29. Will be with us at 4:30, and the legendary Merill Reese will be with us at 5:30 Eastern time. Hit the like button. Keep it here. National Football Show.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. Shit, the Steelers and Browns already have a better quarterback room than Philly. Francis Scott McKee and Jalen Hurts versus Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, or how about Tyler Huntley and Deshaun Watson in Cleveland? Yeah, you have Francis Scott McKee as your guy in case something goes sideways, or a guy you're going to draft in the draft if you have a disaster, or the guy sucks. Oh, wait, no, forgot. Wait a minute. No, I forgot. You have Kenny Pickett season. Okay, hang on. Kenny Pickett, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. I don't know. Pittsburgh looks more Pittsburgh looks a little better. Then you got Deshaun Watson. And hang on. And you got now Tyler Huntley. The Browns signed Tyler Huntley? Holy shit. And they got Jameis Winston. How you doing? Holy, Madonna to me. How can that possibly bite? And you got the greatness of the Wonder Boy, Jalen Hurts. Okay. Hey, seriously, man. I should start calling him Bill Hurts. Holy cow, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. This guy has one season, and you guys are calling him some franchise guy, and he's not. He hasn't proven shit yet. Hey, man, that guy in Buffalo hasn't done it either. But one thing he does do, he don't need I'll tell you this, he doesn't need a treasure chest of money to spend on players to win ball games. That guy's won ball games up there in Buffalo with nobodies. This guy has to have everything. I mean, they got Saquon Barkley, 13-9. And you got a guy making $25 million at wideout. You got another guy who's going to make $18 million off his fifth-year option. You got a $20 million guard. You got a $20 million left tackle. You got a $25 million right tackle. You got a $50 million quarterback. Jesus criminy. I mean, this guy sounds like Veruca Salt. I want one now, Daddy. There's Veruca Salt. You know, I want a golden goose laying goose egg right now, Daddy. Veruca Salt. Holy cow, man. Hey, what else can the Eagles do for him? Allen doesn't need a kicker to hit 65-yarders in the rain and bail him out. Reddick staying. Watch. Great. Two guys who can't stop the run. Another guy. Hey, why not? Hey, what you should do, senor, is sign every single dude that can't play to run. Because you're almost there. You're almost there. I mean, by the end of the season, Jordan Davis, I mean, poor dude, man, he looked like a drunk Santa on Broad Street during the holidays, just leaning on a tree. I'm like, dude, can you make a play? Even Baldinger, Brian Baldinger was saying he should not be playing. Look at this guy. I got 13 wins. On a defense that hasn't been improved. 15 wins, easy. Oh, my God. And you got beat by Tyrod Taylor and the pizza delivery guy, Tommy DeVito. Whew. And the greatness of Drew Lock. Spectacular. The Eagles could use Jalen's strengths. Surely didn't see them the last 8 weeks. Do a rundown of the Eagles' win-loss. You can't. You know why? You can't sit there and give yourself wins based on your offense. You lost to Seattle, the Jets, the Cardinals. The Cardinals were a 3-win team. The shitty Giants. The Bucs smashed you. Where in the world do you get the benefit of a win? Here, I'll make this proclamation to you. You guys could probably win any game you're in next year, but you could lose every game you're in. You're a lot like the Lakers. Lakers can't play defense. They show up sometimes. They got great talent, but they're 10th in the West. And they got two of the best top 5 players in the league in Anthony Davis and LeBron. And they're 10th in the West. Think about that. You got two of the top 5 players in the sport, and you're 10th in the West. How's that? There's only 5 guys on the floor. No, but you improved your defense. Okie dokie. Gary, thank you. Sills, I mentioned this 2 weeks ago. AJ and Smitty are a luxury we can't afford. It would cost us $50 million in a wide receiver room. Yeah, and then the rest of the guys in the wide receiver room, you're not spreading it out to anybody. If Smitty waits until Jefferson signs, it will the cap. Hey, one thing that people are missing on this cap rising, and if you understand the salary cap, it went up more than anybody thought it would go up. Why? Because it's a result of what happened during COVID. It's not going to go up that much next year. Okay? This was a big leap. It was supposed to be around 141 instead of the 155. But remember where that money comes from. That money comes from the TV revenue. The cap is set by the TV revenue. Ratings were up. The number continues to go up. That number's set on what the owners have. And now that COVID is in the rearview mirror and they've made that up, it's roughly going to be around 18% increase every year. So whatever you think that number is. Now get this, the quarterback and the wide receiver salaries, they're not moving up 18%. They're moving up at a 25% clip. Do you understand? It's still going to be casualties of cap cuts before June 1 and after June 1. There's still going to be people whacked. You see, here's the thing where Howie still has $40 million left, right? Here's still something to think about where Howie could get lucky here. Somebody's going to get cut. Before the draft, after the draft, before June 1, or after June 1 when you have to set your 90-man roster. That's what the $90 million is being handed. He's hanging on to that for. Somebody will be cut. That's a good ball player. I can't believe the Jets got Tyron Smith. That fell right into their lap. Holy cow. I'll say it, man. I know you could say whatever you want about injuries, but if Tyron Smith can play with them, that's a gamble you make. If he can give them 14 games, 15 games, I mean, the Jets got themselves a left tackle and Aaron Rodgers. That's a significant upgrade. He's a guy, he may not be a first ballot guy to Canton, but that guy's going to the Hall of Fame. He's a really good football player. Okay? And that's a big pickup for the Jets. That's a huge pickup. Them getting him. He's one of those guys. He gets his hands on you. He is a heck of a player. Heck of a player. Bradbury will get let go, hopefully. And Blankenship. Nah, man, you can't. Look, Reed Blankenship. It's not that I don't want him on the team. I never said that. I don't want him as a starter. He can't be my starting number one safety. You know what I mean? He's not horrible. By the way, he strengthens special teams because you drop him on that thing a little bit more. Okay? Sills, do you think the quarterback position is becoming overpaid? Here's the problem. Okay? Here's the problem that you're getting. The more you pay the quarterbacks, now, again, Howie's done a great job with the cap manipulations on the hits to it with Hurts' contract. There's no question about it. You know, it's crazy. A.J. Brown hurts your salary cap more than Jalen Hurts does. Isn't that crazy? He makes twice the money. That's how good that deal is. If you put that thing into proper perspective, Jalen Hurts' contract, he makes double the money of what A.J. Brown makes, okay? And his impact on the cap is less. That's how good that contract is, okay? That's how good it is that he put it together and constructed it, okay? I mean, absolutely. Let's see here. If James was the GOAT, only one finals appearance as a Laker. This is Title Town. Gary, I would compare James to Wilt. Okay? They're renegades. They're not Laker greats. He's not a Laker great. Okay? Chamberlain was late in his career and went and they won that. He was on that great early 70s team. And Wilt won that title. But Wilt's not going to get a statue. Chamberlain is a legendary Laker. that was a renegade, great, kind of like LeBron. But LeBron's going to get a statue because of his. And by the way, I think it would be. How about this, Gary? It would be an absolute insult to Kobe Bryant and people who delivered multiple championships in Los Angeles if LeBron James gets a statue with the Lakers, because he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve a statue. He's not a Laker great. He's an NBA great. That's what I would say to him. Okay, I mean, Cleveland, Miami, sure. Okay, but Lakers, no. Sills, the product that the NFL sells every week are the fans that we're watching on TV. Correct. The game players are the bait to attract the fans on their sofa. That's why the NFL goes with the offense. Correct. Bob, Xander and I were just actually talking about this. The Eagle fan base is not sensitive. It's prideful. And that the Eagle fan base doesn't like outsiders, people not being loyal to the soil. All this stuff is civic pride shit, which I get. Okay? Which I get. All right? Which I get. But like Buffalo, Bills Mafia, my God almighty. Hey, you want to hear something crazy? I was telling Bill Colarulo this earlier. Xander, everyone, you could go to my Twitter page. Okay, you could go to my Twitter page right now. And Justin Fields blocked me 3 years ago. And you know why he blocked me? Because Bear fans were asking me a question about him. I said, he'll never get a second contract. He's not good enough. Chicago's not good enough to develop him. They will put very limited talent around him. They'll put poor coaching around him. So you guys are making it sound like I've been just sitting here riding his job. He blocked me because I was saying all these Ohio State quarterbacks have been bombs. CJ Stroud has broken that. He broke the glass ceiling. Okay, he has. He looks spectacular. We'll see if he does it again. I want to see that. Okay, we'll see. But yeah, no, I mean, I thought he was gonna. I never thought he was gonna get the coaching he needed. Marcus goes with Shaq and Orlando great. Made him relevant. Was the rookie of the year. Took him to a finals. Got swept by Olajuwon. They should have kept that team together with Penny Hardaway and Nick Anderson. They had a really good nucleus of players. And it was a mistake for Orlando to let that thing go. Or Miami Heat great. Shaq, I wouldn't call Shaq a Miami Heat great. No. That was Dennis. I mean, that was Dwayne Wade's team, in my opinion. Shaq had a great Eastern Conference Finals that year. I think it was against Detroit when he was in Miami. He had a really good Eastern Conference Finals, but that finals was all D. Wade, in my opinion. Okay. Scott Styles, remember him, Dan? Yeah, he was a really good coach too. Yeah, Scott Styles was down there, and even Daly was down there for a little bit too. He was a really good coach. I know. Hurts has to develop into being a pocket passer. Why, Iceberg? How about this, Iceberg? Hurts has to develop into being better pocket awareness, not passer. I don't want him to be a pocket passer. I want him to be the greatest RPO quarterback in league history, which he has a chance to be, but they don't want him to be. Sills, I think the Browns are going to cut some players. Yeah, That's good eyeballing. You got a lot of good players on that team. They've put a lot of super talented guys, okay, on that football team. Hey, Striker. Okay, Striker. It's not serious. Here, Striker. And Gary, I hate to do it to you. In Los Angeles, football's not that serious. Philly, it is. Okay? I could not wait to get Gary Cobb in here. I mean, I'm going to, you know what? And I'm going to give you an insight on what Warren Sapp told me. And I'm going to, before I bring Gary on, this is what Warren Sapp told me along with Bruce Arians about Devin White. 5th pick in the draft. Can't tackle. He plays sometimes when he wants. Do you understand that he was benched in the playoff game? He was benched. And he was a healthy bench. He was beat out by some dude named TJ something. And he was the 5th pick, which means this. You should be working on your second deal. And if he's so good, why did Howie sign him to a 1-year prove-it deal? And now you bring in Orenthal Burks, the kid from the 49ers, or Oren Burks or something. I call him Orenthal. And I mean, to back up who? Devin White, Nakobe Dean, and I let me get Gary Cobb in here and get his thoughts here on Devin White. I mean, 4 of the last 5 years, or 5 of the last 6 years, Gary. Now, Pro Football Focus isn't the end-all, but maybe you get 1 year wrong. Gary, last 5 years, they've said that he's the worst tackling linebacker and cover linebacker, and that quarterbacks last year had 110 quarterback rating versus him in pass coverage.
Well, I know, and I can't say I'm an expert on him, but I know that he has been, he's just been going south, with regards to the way he's been playing. I don't know what's going on with him, his whole attitude. He is undersized, and a lot of times, teams want to beat up on him because, he's fast, he's quick, but, he don't like stepping up, taking on a 300-pound plus guard or whoever is coming at him. So that hasn't really been his strong suit, and tackling, he has been known to miss a lot of tackles and just really, he's just gotten, as he's played, a reputation for really being undisciplined. And he says he's going to change that. I, read some of the comments he's made, that he's going to, this is going to be a change in the direction he's going, and he needs to change.
I hope so. I hope so. You got to, hey, Gary, you're 6 years in.
Yeah. There
has to be an epiphany every now and then somewhere in this, right?
It better, or it's going to be a disaster, because that's not going to work here in Philly. If he's thinking up the joint, the people are not going to bite their tongue. He's going to hear it. And he's got a problem with that. He's going to have a problem playing here. There's no doubt about it. And the linebacker position is going to be a focal point. Teams are going to be looking at what they do. They got younger guys in front of them. These young guys, they're learning the game. They're learning the pro game. So you figure if you had experienced linebackers, they would kind of be leading the way. But we will see. It's going to be interesting to see what transpires. They didn't really, show, great belief that he's going to be great. They give him 1 year. That means, hey, they're not sure.
How about this, Gary? They got $40 million still in cap space.
Yeah.
Now, here's how please, and correct me if you see it different. So they signed Gardner Johnson instead of Xavier McKinney, $17 million. They get CJ cheaper. Instead of getting Patrick Queen at $17.8, they get Devin White at $7 million, and it's cheaper. Instead of getting Brian Burns, $26 million at end, you get a guy who struggles against the run and is not a complete 3-down player in Bryce Huff. Is it me? And you still have $40 million. I mean, why are you still bargain shopping at positions that you need to get total quality players in, where you were never really in the room, Gary, for those top flight first 2-day defensive type players? Am I wrong when I'm saying this?
I think, we could see what they've done. I mean, from what I could see with this team that they're putting together is they're expecting the offense to carry them. They're expecting their offense is going to carry them. I mean, I think with the way the design of the defense, to take away the big plays, play smart football. Of course, you want to get some turnovers. So if the team drives, you don't want to give up big plays, but you think that you're going to turn the ball over some, and you're going to have an offense that's going to be the best or one of the best in the league. That seems like the way they're thinking, because, you're going to be spending a lot of money on offense. I mean, Devontae Smith, you're going to have to, he wants his money, I'm sure. And
yeah, but Gary, he's going to get heat from the NFLPA and his agent not to sign a deal until Justin Jefferson, who just turned down get this, Gary, he just turned down a $30 million contract. Lamb hasn't even been offered. So if I'm Devontae, aren't you doing this? I'm not signing anything until the market's set.
I could see that. Of course, they're going to try to get it moving, but the wisest thing for him would be to, to go ahead and, as you said, wait till the market settles. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how much would they be willing to pay Devontae. You got AJ already making 25. Do they think Devontae's better? But he's signing it at a later date. So this is going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. But I think, the Eagles right now, I look at their team. They're a team that wants to come out every week and score over 30 points. That's the way they've got the talent. And the defense is going to be looked at as a team basically to just, make some plays, get some turnovers, but you're not looking at a dominant defense.
How about this, Gary? Kenny Pickett season, baby. Here we go. Hey, now follow me here. Do I think Kenny Pickett's good? No. Do I think that Justin Fields is good? But I want to show you something here.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2000, A.J. Freely, Andy Hall, Kevin Cobb, Mike Kafka, Matt Barkley, Clayton Thornton, Tanner McKee, and the only two quarterbacks, really, you had Foles with the moment, and you had Wentz and Hurts in the last 25 years. You made a poor decision on moving off of Foles and kept Wentz. Am I really under the belief that this organization knows what and how to evaluate the quarterback position when that whole Wentz thing went sideways? Last year, do we not agree that they were part of the reason why Hurts took a step backwards? Because of the lack of coordinator. Why am I under the belief that they know what they're doing when it comes to player development at that position?
Well, I think I could see where you could definitely question them, but I think also they look at the fact they've been to a couple of Super Bowls, in the last 5 years.
They've been to 3 in that time frame.
And so that's where they would come back with, maybe they didn't do the right things where, Carson Wentz went south on them, but they won a Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. I mean,
yes,
where
they did.
He got them there. And then he talked with, Jalen Hurts, regardless of what he does going forward, they were very close to winning the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. So I think they got to feel pretty good about that. And I think that's the argument that they make. Is that, maybe it wasn't, drawn out the way you would, which is you bring in this guy and he plays for 10 to 12 years. He's your quarterback. You build everything around him. Well, instead of that, they've had 2 guys, but they've had 2 trips to the Super Bowl, and they feel like maybe they get a chance to do some more with Jalen Hurts, and he's still very young. So, they're confident about what they've been doing, and they would have to admit they made some mistakes, no doubt. But they, in the last 5 years, they'd have to say, you know what, we feel pretty good that we can match anybody in the NFL the last 5 years.
Let me ask you a question on Josh Sweat and then also on Reddick. Do you believe that Sweat and Reddick, obviously Sweat just restructured his contract, so he's back.
Yeah.
But do you believe that is a sign that Reddick's out the door? Or do you think that Reddick will be brought back and they're going to pay two dudes, one $17 million and the other guy potentially $25 million?
I mean, I would be surprised if they do that. Even though, of course, their thinking is, hey, we pay the pass rushers. We pay pass rushers. We play our corners. Everybody else is not going to get, the major dollars. That's been their thinking, but they changed their thinking at running back. Maybe they're changing a little bit. I don't see how you can put that much money in, even though they can look inside and say, well, we're not paying our tackles. We don't have to pay them yet. We got youngsters in there at the tackle position, and therefore we can have more outside. Maybe they think that way. Maybe they hang in there and they go ahead and bring Hassan back. But I'm definitely surprised. But I didn't think they were bringing Saquon in there. So do I know what they're doing? I don't know. And maybe they're getting a little bit more aggressive because the salary cap went up and everything. And maybe they're being more aggressive. But I could imagine maybe they could do that for a year. But of course, Hassan won't be happy. He wants 25. I don't think we can predict what they can do because we wouldn't have said Saquon would be here. They wouldn't have given Saquon that much. So I don't know if they know what they're doing. I'm surprised. I think they're changing things.
How about this, Gary? When it comes to Jalen, somebody brought it up to me earlier, and I said, well, he's basically doing the same thing in Philadelphia what Brock Purdy's doing in San Francisco. And I say, with all due respect, it's just different. Brock Purdy has a ton of talent around him. Jalen Hurts has a ton of talent around him. I mean, when does it become a point where the organization does this? There's very little we can do. You've got 6 Pro Bowlers in your huddle.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary, how important is this year for them looking at Jalen in this? I think they still look at him right now, Gary, in the same light that they did in 22. But doesn't it get to a point, if this thing doesn't move the needle forward with all these moves, that you're going to have to really have a sit down and go, okay, this is where we are. So here we are back to 2022 again with Jalen, that, we're in a wait and see how this thing plays out. Now, everyone's hoping it plays out right. But at the end of the day, we're not sure.
I think that when you make moves like this, to go get Saquon Barkley, you want to win the whole thing. I mean, and then you see aggressive stuff defensively. They're going after it, and I commend them for that. But there's no question that they're going after it. I mean, they are saying we are trying to win this whole thing, and hopefully they do. But they are. I mean, I give them credit. I don't think anybody knew that they would be this aggressive, and clearly that's what, their thinking is. And you can see they have, I don't know what else they could do offensively to be more aggressive. I don't know what else they could do. They've shown that. They're probably not done defensively. They're not done yet. And they've been aggressive over there as well.
You think they'll be
maybe not as well.
He's hanging on to that $40 million
because they expect their offense to carry them.
Gary, do you think one of the reasons they held on to that $40 million, because they're under 40 under the cap, is because there's going to be cap casualties coming up?
I mean, that's a great point. That's a great point. They definitely could go in and really could get some great players. I mean, because I'm sure they've done their homework. They know who's probably going to drop out there. So I definitely think that that's probably the way Howie's thinking, and they're going after it. So I got to commend them for that. We'll see whether they were right or not, but that offense, if you keep Saquon healthy, man, I mean, and they got to be going after people. I mean, they got to be attacking these guys before they get off the bus. I mean, they're trying to put points on the board because, you got all these guys, and defensively, that's going to be tough to put together a game plan against that offense, because if you're going to just you're not going to have anybody in that box, and you're going to let Saquon just run the ball and things. I mean, he is capable of taking it to the house every time he touches it. Somebody misses a tackle, man, dude is gone.
Gary,
so, yeah.
I know that it was reversed a little bit, but you have changed rivalries in a division when you go from one rival to another, like Barkley is going from the Giants to the Eagles.
Yeah.
How did you prepare and change that mentality was it just about being a pro? Was it just about, or did you have angst in what you wanted to do versus versus the other team when you were on it?
Mm-hmm.
How did you prepare yourself for going when you were a major rival of this respected team and you get traded to another team?
Mm-hmm.
How did you deal with that?
Well, it's something that, I had to say you're a pro. And because you're a pro, and you have the commitment, and that the team you're playing with, you get close with the guys you're playing with because you live with each other. All day long you're around these guys. So it was just kind of a natural transition for me. I mean, I'm with the guys that I'm with, and it's a friendship and everything, but it's a commitment. And as a player, you want to win. I don't care who the other guys are. We want to win. And so, you could be playing against your brother. You want to win the game. And so if you catch him coming across the middle, you're not going, well, that's my brother.
Has to be mentally tough for you, though.
I think, yeah, it is. But
a guy you got all this lather up for the year before, all of a sudden now you're playing with him.
Yeah, but see, that, they don't do that as much now. But really, when I was playing, you go against the guys on your team more than anybody else.
It was
and
different.
You have rivalries with him because he's talking noise to you. You're going to talk noise back to him. So if you get a chance to bust him, you're going to bust him. I mean, this is part of the game, and everybody respects that. And so it's really not that hard to get in there. The guys on the other side are the enemy. It's really not that hard. And, I think it's probably more so when you get off the field where you're talking and, you're friends with different guys and stuff. But the guy on the field, even in practice, come on. That guy on the field is trying to block me. I'm sorry. I don't have no problem, whatever I got to do,
I get to see you
think
doing
that's
this,
just
Gary.
part of the game.
Talking to your wife. Hey, did the direct deposit clear on Tuesday? Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Hey, what you say? No, it's pretty easy. And then, you see somebody like Gardner Johnson. He's moving. There's a good chance the Eagles could be seeing the Lions down the road. And
oh yeah,
but he's going to be talking more noise than anybody else. And he just played with those guys. See, but when you become a rival, it's almost like because you know them, it's a bigger rival because you know those guys. And you got to hear their mouth if they win. So you're looking forward to that game more than anything else. So
Barkley's 0-10 versus the Cowboys.
Wait, say that again?
Barkley's 0-10 versus the Cowboys.
Well, I think he's going to try to take care of that. He's going to get a good chance to take care of get that stuff going in a different direction this year because and what's going on down there? Are they still down there?
I don't know,
Are the
man.
Cowboys still down there? What's going on with those guys?
Dude, they just lost a linebacker to retirement. I mean, they just lost Tyron Smith to the Jets. He just signed with the Jets.
I know. I thought maybe they out on a cruise somewhere. The whole team is out on a boat somewhere on a cruise with Jerry.
I know. Jeffrey Lurie's kidnapped the Joneses and got them down there in Morocco on that new yacht.
I mean, we have not heard from those people.
Hey, man, he sent them to the same place where the guy in France was.
I guess so. I guess so. You're right. The guy in France. Yeah, that used to be the guy, but yeah, now it's the guy with his boat.
The guy in France. Gary, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right. Hey, have a good one. It's going to be interesting.
It is. It absolutely is. Gary Cobb, Fox 29, Philadelphia. Hit the like button. The guy in France. I actually like the guy in France. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills! Finally, Philly 4 for 4 gets one. Sills, why would you like Norman Brayman? He was a penny pincher. Was he a Canes booster? I don't know. I don't know. How would I know? I mean, the red Corvette, I found it. I found it. I don't know. I mean, Steven, what's up, 93? How you doing? You must be a Florida guy. People down in Miami area and down in Florida call me. What's up, 93? Damn right. And Clint Hurt, you're okay to wear my number when you were at Miami. I gave you the blessing of wearing my number. Sills, can I wear your number? Yes. Hear great things about you. That's what I did. actually called me and asked me, I'm going to wear your number. All good. You're a D-line coach, right? How come the 2 last D-line coaches are like boys of mine? Oh, that's because I get around, and I play with good people. No good people. Norman Brayman, I have no idea how that Corvette of mine, that cherry apple red Corvette, showed up in my driveway. No idea. How would I know how that thing showed up? Was he a Canes booster? Of course he was. You kidding me? He's still a Canes booster. Dude, I was introduced to Buddy Ryan through Norman Brayman. How do you think Norman Brayman came down to Miami all them years and talked to us? Was because Norman Brayman used to give Jimmy Johnson his Cadillacs. Pick it, baby. Holy cow. Boy, you should see everybody's very upset with James on my Twitter page and Xander because I called Jalen Hurts Brock Purdy. Is that a bad thing? Put a team in the Super Bowl. Was a runner-up MVP. I mean, won an NFC championship game. Same as Jalen. He's 17-4. What is he in the playoffs? 1, 2, 3. So is he 3-2 in the playoffs? Let's see. 1, 2. 1, 2. Right. And then he's 3. Divisional, NFC. Like he's like 4-1. Sills, Purdy can read elite defenses. He sure can. Hurts can't. How did you fit in the vet? I wasn't as wide as I used to be. I was more this way and big, And, I think I've even lost a half inch. And not that. No, I mean, in height. In height, I've lost a half. Maybe that's what my wife's talking about. You've lost half an inch. I said, yeah, I'm not quite as tall. She started laughing, and I didn't get it. Maybe that's what she's been saying. I don't know. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, I'm a little slow on shit like this. Everyone takes advantage of me. What the hell do I know? Right? Let's see. He was the last pick in the NFL draft. Don't compare him to our boy. Boy, what do you mean? He's done exactly and more what your guy's done. He's better. He's got a lot of talent around him too. Purdy's not. Here's what Bill Caligula will say. He'll go like this. This guy, Hurts, is the best. I had never seen anything like it. It's unbelievable. Holy Jesus, but the guy Purdy sucks. Like, he's got the same team. Guy's got the same team. Oh, Purdy's 3-2? Okay. It's the same guy, just different. Jalen. But you know what they're trying to do in Philly? They're trying to make Jalen Hurts look like Brock Purdy. And he can never be. They should let Jalen look like Jalen Hurts. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Let me ask you this. How come the Eagles haven't offered Hassan Reddick a contract? Why haven't you offered him a contract if you want him back? Yeah, I'm with you. They're comparable. Okay? They're good quarterbacks. They have to have a lot around them, but Chris goes, I'm sure they're talking. Talk? I think the talking's done, dude. You're either paying or you're not paying. Talking? How could you talk about doing this? I want 25. I'm going to pay you 17. That's only $2 million raise from what I'm making. That's not market value. Why hasn't Reddick received a better offer than in the open market? Nobody's offered him a contract or he would be gone. taking him down. So then, wait a minute. See what I'm doing here, Chris? So they're taking him down. Do you know what that does, Chris? When you take him down, Eagles will offer 22. I think, no way. You're telling me then, why would the Eagles offer him 22 if he hasn't been offered 22 in the open market? Chris doesn't get what he's doing here. They're talking him down? No. They're showing him what the market is. Why would the Eagles pay and bid against themselves? Why would the Eagles bid against themselves? If somebody offers him 22, I'll give you 23 to stay. And I may give you another deal. Why haven't they offered him? And to Chris's point, Reddick got 25 stuck in his head. Okay, well, the Eagles aren't going to give a guy and bid against themselves when no one's offered him that contract. Because if they did, he'd be gone and signed. Bryce Huff got signed for $17 million on 1 year. Reddick's done this for 4, and he can't get anybody to give him a contract offer? Kellen Moore is going to turn Jalen into a pocket quarterback. RPO is over. Never happened. He's going to struggle at this. We have McNabb all over. So you, Death Row, you think that McNabb was worse once he stopped running as a quarterback. Is that right? How he made his offer, Reddick's trying to beat it. Okay, well, why in the world with the Eagles? And that's, you know what I would do if I was Howie? Here's $20 million. Take it or leave it. And Reddick, in my opinion, is leaving it. And no one's offering him a cent more. Because there's no market for 20. Think about that. I bet you he's offered him 20. And no one's bid on it. Here's 22. Hey, here's 22. I don't think the Eagles have offered him that. Or he would have took it. The Eagles are playing Reddick like a fiddle, I think, and perfectly negotiated by Howie. This, he gets kudos for. This negotiating and playing hardball with Hassan Reddick, the Eagles are winning this. The longer he sits out there and the closer he gets to the draft, they're going to show you how to do a deal with a guy who they're going to get more value for in trading, and that guy's not going to get the money he so commands. Nope. Listen, I'll be the first to admit it if someone gives him $25 million that I was wrong. I was wrong about Kirk Cousins. Okay? Yeah, it goes like this. Reddick is still under contract. Yeah, but with an asterisk. Go see if you can find a trade partner. He's under contract and get this. What Yale just showed you. Reddick is still under contract with the permission of the organization to go, well, I'll tell you what, you're under contract for another year. But if you can find a better deal out there than what you're making right now, get back to us. We'll let you know what we want to do. That doesn't sound like love to me. That doesn't sound like, and by the way, if I'm Howie, I probably haven't thrown a number out. Why would I throw a number out when a guy is throwing 25 million out? I'll give you 20. How do you know another team would give him 20? Who's to say that? Because Bryce Huff got 17? Maybe. See, I think he's not going to get any more than Huff. Huff's done that 1 year and got 17. Reddick's asking for 25 and has no takers. See, the Eagles, It's like the Cowboys doing a negotiation with Dak for $60 million. I saw they restructured the contract, and I think they're saving, $4 million on their salary cap. That I don't get. $4 million? Great. So you have a $55.5 million cap hit for the Cowboys. I'm not sure that helps. Instead of 59, it's 55. How did that help? How did that help the Cowboys? They lost Tyron Smith. That had no bearing on your roster. Had no bearing. Big Sills, do you think the Steelers will beat the Eagles this year with their new addition? They're better coached. Mike Tomlin is a better coach than your guy. I got to see how Russell Wilson plays. I really do. I have to see how Russell Wilson plays. Saints signed Chase Young. How? You talk about purgatory of dead cap money. How in the world did they get that thing done? They must have restructured Derek Carr's contract. And they must have restructured Honey Badger's deal. They must be moving off of Michael Thomas. Have they already? How in the world did they get Chase Young when they were like $50 million over the cap? The Saints were the worst team in the league when it came to cap numbers. That's a crazy sign. What'd they sign him for, 13 annually? I would think that number would be around 13. I can't think that they would pay. They got a pretty good defense too, though. They got a pretty good defense. Sills, would you trade for Jock for the Browns? Let me wait till the draft. Let me wait. Okay? Let me wait. Okay? I'm glad we traded Chase Young. 49ers, because you signed another end. Derek Carr highway robbery doesn't even have a playoff win. If you look at his numbers, though, Philly 007, they weren't pathetic last year. I hate when people call Mike Tomlin overrated. Not an overrated coach. And I'm an Eagle fan. Mike Tomlin is the coach in the NFL I'd like to play for. He's my favorite coach. Mickey Loomis is a really great GM. You're right. Yeah, he's a great talent evaluator, too. All right, let me take a timeout. Merill Reese will join us at 5:30 Eastern. We will talk to him. The legendary voice of the Philadelphia Eagles. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Kenny Pickett season. Hit the like button. Big Sales National Football Show. Don't get your panties in a bind. The guy's not a good player. Justin Fields is not a good player. Jalen Hurts had a shitty year. Kenny Pickett or Justin Fields is not going to beat out Russell Wilson or Jalen Hurts. However, you put seasons like you did together a year ago, you'll be replaced with a lesser player. That's what the league does. It's what it does. Oh, my God. I hope you ain't playing the Browns in the opener in Sao Paulo. Holy cow. That's an L. You can't stop the Browns. With who? Reed Blankenship? Betty White? Jimmy Dean? Orenthal Burks? Really? Let's go here. If you trade your boy Hassan Reddick, what are you getting in return for him? You're not getting a 2. You're not getting a 2. What are you getting? 3, a 6. Shit. Brian Burns got a 2 and a 5. Who the hell do you think you are? Brian Burns? You might get a 4th. Because Philly, the Giants just gave up a 2 and a 5 for a superior player. That's why. Burns was had for a 2 and a 5. Your guy is not getting a 2. You think Brian, wait a minute, let me get this right. You think Hassan Reddick is Brian Burns? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not getting a 2 for a one-way player. Not happening. Shit, you can't. Hey, he doesn't even have a market right now for $20 million. Anything more than a third. A third would be a miracle. I would take that in a minute. Give me another 3. Absolutely. I get me a great-looking young linebacker there. Okay? You give me a 3 for him and the odds on in the 5th or 6th, sure. Give me a 3 and a 6. I'm all over that. How much did Chase Young make? How much did he get from New Orleans? Mickey Loomis is pretty frugal with his money. So I'd be pretty shocked to hear it's anything north of $15 million. Okay? I'd be $13 million. So wait a minute here. $13 million for Chase Young. Chase Young, man, he may be the new version of Hassan Reddick going down there and being better than his contract. And he could outplay that. $13 million. Man, if I'm Howie Roseman, you mean to tell me Chase Young I could have had replace Brandon Graham for $13 million and I didn't want to do it, and you played in the division? You didn't want to do that? And you signed a guy who can't play the run or cover. And you had a guy who's coming off a knee injury who I thought was great in the postseason. And you didn't want to sign him to that? I don't know, man. $13 million bucks. I might have taken a flyer on that, on another 1 year. Hey, was it a 1 year deal or a multi-year deal? Because that'll be a factor, especially when it comes to Howie. The Iceberg goes, he was lazy in the playoffs. They couldn't block him in the Super Bowl, Iceberg. What are you watching? What game were you watching? He had a sack and a half. Look at Iceberg. Young had a sack and a half in the Super Bowl, and he was lazy. Okay. Well, if that's lazy, I'll sign lazy all day. Shit, you want to know what lazy is? Watch your guy A.J. Owens when the play's not going his way. I'll show you lazy. Oh, it ain't going over here? Oh. 13 fully guaranteed, man. I'd have took that risk. Okay, Iceberg, my bad. Okay, my bad. It's a 1 year deal. That's a Howie Roseman deal. Nolan Smith proved himself this training camp. How are you going to prove yourself in a training camp where they don't work hard? AJ never takes plays off. Really? Once you watch him one time, he's AJ Owens when the play doesn't come his way. Yeah. Doesn't take a play off? You mean like that interception where he stopped running against the Jets? You mean like that, right? Oh, you must have missed that one. You should Google it. Or do you know how to spell Google? It's got 2 O's. Okay? It's got 2 O's. Big Sills, the Saints have Willie Gay, DeMarco Davis, and Chase Young. Look what people are realizing. Everyone is stacking on defense now since the Eagles are stacking on offense. Like the Giants 2 fitness is what you're saying, right? Okay. Okay, I see it. Sills, what would be your trade targets if you're the Eagles? And you got to replace Brandon Graham. You got to replace Brandon Graham. Brother, that's right. Hey, dude, lazy. Watch Jordan Davis when he hits McDonald's for a Happy Meal. Or KFC when they run out of biscuits. That's funny. Hey, that's pretty funny. Hey, brother, you should see Jordan Davis when he runs out of a Happy Meal toy. You know, when that toy that goes into Happy Meal? You should see, man, how he gets upset with that. You know? The little retractable cup. That thing's dope. I actually have 2 of them. And Jordan Davis complained about the ice cream machine at NovaCare. Hey, will somebody fix the ice cream machine? Not like the power drink machine, or like the you know, when you're putting together those shakes and shit, those power shakes. He's concerned about the vanilla ice cream with the sprinkles. Hey, someone, will you fix the machine, please? I mean, how long is the Chip Kelly machine, the ice cream machine, going to be down? Can't be cool. Barb goes like this. I love shakes too, dude. BG's still here, isn't he, for pep talks? Yeah. Go team and win one for the Gipper. Is that right? Okay. Hey, I'm waiting for them to kind of address with a big sign. They haven't had a big sign yet on defense. They had a really big one at running back. Watch this. What did you need more, linebacker or safety or corner or running back? Well, the far latter one, running back, was the bigger sign. Really? I wonder what they're telling Jalen with that. Hey, Jalen, we got you another thing. Okay? We got you another lifeboat on the Titanic. Hey, they added another lifeboat on the Titanic for Hurts. It's called the Saquon lifeboat. How many lifeboats do you need? Well, that night you needed 1,500, I guess. Don't sleep on Gardner Johnson. Like I said, Jay, here's the thing with Gardner Johnson. By the way, Merill Reese will join us at the bottom of the hour. He's got to be happy with all these new additions. I mean, he's not going to quite go out for the cheerleading and upload his cheerleading video to like the website. By the way, you have to have that in by March 23rd. All videos for, and this is important. So when you see Bill tomorrow, don't forget, watch his show, please. When you see Bill, make sure you tell Bill March 23rd, he's got to upload his cheerleader video for the Eagles to get a tryout with the cheerleaders. It's very important. They just started it, and it cuts off at the 23rd. Make sure he gets it in. Okay, him and the afternoon guy from WIP, imperative that they upload those videos. Xander will help him. So will James. Those guys know all that stuff. Me, I'm just, I'm a simple fella. I'm a simple fella. Hey, I could, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's like people want me to do like a lot of cheers and shit on March 18th. Yeah, man, it's good to cheer on March 18th. Yay, team. It's all good, man. Yay, team. Okay. Hey, guys, do me a favor. I'm hoping, please, let me know if I miss any super chats. Okay? Let me know because I don't want to miss them. Hey, and by the way, when Merill comes on, don't send them until after because I don't want to miss it. Because some of you guys, Xander's been kicking my ass on it. He goes, hey, dude, you missed a shitload. 2 weeks ago, we missed a bunch. And people spend money, and you guys spend money, and I apologize for that. So I want to make it very clear that we read all those, and they become a priority. They go right to the top of the line, and we move you right to the top of the food chain there. So, Sills, would you like Justin Simmons? Big rhythm. He's 31, dog. Aren't you tired of old guys? Didn't Josh Sweat structure so he could be traded? Brian, I think that could still happen, okay, because the money's not that crazy. I think it's kind of enticing for a team to trade now for him because he restructured. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. Okay? I don't. Philly brings up a great point. Philly 4x4, I bet you don't miss any meals. Actually, I've cut a meal out now in my older age. My uncle eats one meal a day. I used to eat 3. I'm down to 2 now. And I don't eat sweets. I'm just a big old horse. How you doing? Send the money back, Sills. Yeah, okay. Get this. It all goes to Consolidated Garbage, Big Sills' company. You know who my CEO is? Vito Anafermo. Okay? No refunds, no credit. Our 401k is built on $4.25 that's me and my wife's company. It's called Consolidated Garbage. And Vito Anafermo, that's my AKA name. Is the CEO. I think the wife's name, the CFO, I think she's Maya Colangelo or something like that. I forget what it is. And Hyman Roth is our CPA. We got a bunch of other guys too, man. A bunch of other Italian guys too. It's all good. What do you want me to say? How many? Oh no. Do you think we should re-sign Rager? Who, the Patriots? They did. They gave him a contract. Okay? They gave him a contract, the Patriots. This is my first ever super chat, Sills. Just wanted to show some love. That's dope. Philly 007. He gives me shit. You know what's cool about these guys? You guys give me a ton of shit. You show up every day. Your boss. And I dig it. And I dig it. Hey, remember something. It's March 18th. We're having fun. We're having fun. Who knows what? Hey, here's what I'm going to hate. Philly 007. You know what you're going to get from the big old cheerleaders that, you know, have to get their video uploaded? This is what you're going to get after the, 27th of April is when the draft, right? I got him. This is what's going to happen here. You ready? What a great draft. Holy shit. They got their guy. My God. This guy. And you're like, I've never said that. I have never in my life, covering the draft, said that this player is going to be a stud. How in the world would you know that? And before you even, and before the kid even gets his first jockstrap in the NFL and his first helmet, you got tools coming out going, the Eagles, they got their guy. He's unbelievable. Remember what I said about Jalen Carter? All the skills that I see, I said he's got potential to be as quick and as strong as Jerome Brown. And he showed that. I said to you about Jordan Davis, it's a good pick, but I believe his ceiling is Vince Wilfork. Okay? Thanks, Ricky. You said that about Carter. There's many videos from draft day of me saying that. Many. JAKIB Sports with a K. In case you can't follow along. I want to be helpful here to some. You know, I will say this. Gary Cobb said something earlier, and on Friday, was it? I believe that Angelo Cataldi also said one thing, was that the Eagles are taking swings. Okay? They're taking swings. And you cannot deny, and you know what? Listen, whether I'm critical of some of the defensive moves, one thing you will say is that when it comes to constructing these contracts and these deals, Roseman has done a great job. They're $40 million still under the cap. You know what that money's going to be left for? I'm going to bring Merill Reese in here in a second. But do you know what that money's left for? Cap casualties. June 1 and June after June 1. How we may get lucky and find a guy that's a cap casualty that's going to be a player that you want to sign a contract to. Let's bring in Merill Reese. It's been a lot of activity. I try not to really break off Merill too much here and bug him, especially during your time out, Merill.
You don't bug me.
Merill, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Let's see if we can.
Can you hear me?
Again with Merill. See if we can bring him up here.
I see you. I hear you.
Let's see if we can reconnect that, Xander, here. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see if we're able to reconnect here with.
Can you hear me?
I got you now, Merill.
Good, good. You can hear me.
Yeah, I think we're having a little connection issues here, Merill. You all right there? Can you hear me now?
Fine. Let me just try this. Well, that didn't work.
Yeah, let's see here what we're gonna do here. Let's see what my guy Xander says here. Okay. It's on. Oh yeah, because we're having some difficult weather over.
I'll try again. Try again. Hold on.
Okay, let's see here. It's on my neck of the woods, folks. Xander's saying it's on my neck of the woods. That doesn't shock me here because I'm having bad weather where I'm at. It's not Xander. Okay. Yeah, because I can't hear him. Let's see if we can reconnect here. I'm going to be very interested because I've heard him on WIP talking about all the additions and all the people that have now been added. Let's see if we can bring them up now. Merill, I got you now, Merill.
Okay, I've got you. I had you all along.
Oh, it's on my end.
Okay.
Okay, Merill.
Yes.
Your take on all the activity on what you've seen so far with Howie and the Eagles.
I like it. I think he's added some very, very good pieces. There are guys who I don't know that much about. I mean, I don't know that much about Huff. I know that he had a productive last year as a part-time player with the Jets. Eagles seem enthusiastic about him. I love Saquon Barkley. How can you not? He gives them a 3-down back. He will add a leadership facet to this team. There are a lot of good parts of this. And I think Kenny Pickett is a fine young guy to come in here, added to the quarterback room. I think he can come in when he has to and win a game. I think he's got a bright future in the National Football League. And I think that he'll get along very well with Jalen and, for that matter, with Tanner McKee.
How about this too, Merill? Have you been shocked that the Eagles pivoted a little bit when it came to a priority at the running back position? It's not so much that they don't value the position because they've had 2 Pro Bowlers the last 2 years.
Right. Financially,
though, this has been more of a commitment than what they've had probably since Shady was in the building. And so have you been shocked they pivoted, at least showing that there's more of a financial commitment to this?
No, I think that they view every year separately and evaluate what they feel will help the team. People say the Eagles never take linebackers, but they have invested in 3rd-round linebackers in the past, and who knows, they could go even higher this year. You never know.
I'll tell you my 2 favorite moves. My 2 favorite moves are Josh Sweat restructuring and Landon Dickerson, and here's why. Anytime that you draft guys that have been productive for you and are working on 3rd and 2nd deals for your team, that's called player development, Merill. That's reinvesting in what your investments were initially. Going out sometimes and getting mercenaries and free agents, that's not always the case. But when you're able to make moves like that, to me, those are my favorite moves. Your takes on those moves, restructuring Sweat and the great deal for Landon Dickerson.
And I would still like to see them hang on to Hassan Reddick. I still like to see them work something out with Hassan, who is a leader and a great player. But
you agree, Merill?
Yeah.
That why would the Eagles offer anything to him? That would be this. Why am I going to negotiate versus myself when they've given him permission out in the open market to find another dance partner? I mean, he's still under contract. I'm not saying they don't want the player, Merill, but the Eagles shouldn't offer him a contract and they shouldn't offer him a number because you're negotiating against yourself. I don't really believe that there's that giant of a market at $25 million for him. And I think he's going to have to come down in that number if he wants to remain in Philly. Do you agree?
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of people who know a lot more about the financial maneuverings than I do. I follow it, but in terms of what Howie should do in the next move, Howie's pretty good at that. Do you remember last year when they actually, for a couple of days, released Fletcher Cox and gave him permission to check the market? And then a few days after that, he was back. So Howie's pretty sharp. He really is. He knows what he's doing in this player procurement world, and he knows how to play the salary cap well.
Expand a little more if you can on the Kenny Pickett move. Getting a guy like that. And by the way, I'm not suggesting in any way whatsoever that he's coming in and battling for a job or what have you.
No.
Same thing with Justin Fields in Pittsburgh.
Well, see,
I do not believe that at all. But Merill, it doesn't send a giant smoke signal. But again, to me, you make a move there. I mean, and maybe you wanted a veteran quarterback like Gary Cobb said. How did you take that, them bringing in a guy like that who was a first-round pick just a few years ago, who Howie, he went and scouted the guy personally when Pitt played North Carolina in Pittsburgh. How do you look at all that?
I think he's a quality quarterback. I think he's somebody who could come in and play well when he has to. I don't think he's hurting them as far as their overall cap is concerned. He's a bright guy. He's a very likable guy. I met him today down at the NovaCare Center. Really good guy. Thrilled to be here because even though he went to Pitt and grew up in New Jersey, where he could have been a Giants fan, he was an Eagles fan all his life because his dad had spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. And somebody said, people are always saying, I'm Eagles fans. And one of the writers said to him, maybe not so much as a test, but said to him, oh, who were your favorite Eagles? And if somebody were just throwing that out there, but he rattled it off real fast. Oh, I love Dawkins. I love Donovan. I love Trott. He spoke like an Eagles fan. He's really happy to be back in this area. And I think he comes in, he said he met with Tanner McKee and with Jalen Hurts. He spent some time with these guys, and he said it was really great to be with these guys. We had a good feeling for each other. I think he's going to be a very good fit for this team. I really do.
I'm going to ask you a question here, and I want you to tell us some secrets here.
Okay.
Who's the biggest trash talker in Philadelphia Eagles history? Was it Jerome?
Jerome was right up there, but I'll give you another one if you're going to go back a little ways, and that was Andre Waters.
Oh. I love you, Andre.
Before they played Houston, they played the Houston Oilers at that time, and it was known as the House of Pain. And Andre went around the locker room shouting, "They'll bring the house, we'll bring the pain." Andre was right up there with the best.
Absolutely. So I lead you there because
I think Big Play Slay might be the biggest on this team.
Wait a minute. That leads me to Gardner Johnson. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, I don't hear that much, but from what I have heard, he's pretty mouthy too.
Yeah, well, so what's your take on Gardner Johnson coming back to the Eagles? I mean, I got to say it, Merill. Both parties, just like the Bobby Wagner deal up in Seattle, there was a really bad taste on the way out the door when he went to L.A., and all of a sudden they buried the hatchet. He went back to Seattle, and all was forgiven. And it's business, isn't it? Sometimes feelings get hurt in the process here. Are you good with him coming back?
Yeah, I am. He came back with a smile on his face and said that, I'm back and, let's see what we can do together. And, I think he'll be fine. I think, what he is? He's a great instinctive player. He knows where the ball is coming. He's a ball hawk, and this team needs a ball hawk.
Couple last questions for you. In the draft, I'm not going to ask you about any players that are going to be eligible for the draft coming up in April, but I will ask you this. With what you've seen so far, are we starting to get a direction? To me, I think it's going to be an edge rusher to replace Brandon. Because they have to address that, because they have to set the edge better than what they did a year ago. So unless something changes, where a trade, like you said, or something, because I don't believe Howie's done yet either, is that kind of the direction you see where they're going to look at defensive line, defensive end, not tackle?
Well, they could look at tackle too, but that's, you never know. But I'm going to give you one where they haven't used a first-round pick for this position since 2002, when a guy like Lito came in, Lito Shepherd. Would not surprise me, and I'm basing some of this on the depth of this position in the draft, to see them go corner.
Do you know they haven't drafted a linebacker since Robinson in 79 in the first round?
I do. Yes. Not the first round, right. You're right.
I mean, why do you think the Devin White sign, here's my issue with it, okay? It's the 5th pick in the draft. He's on a prove-it deal. His last 5 years, it's been, I don't know, a little bit spotty. Warren Sapp didn't speak highly of him, but then again, it's coming from Sapp, so you take that for a grain of salt. I mean, sometimes new directions, new places. Is that what we're looking at here, Merill, where a new welcome mat and a new zip code might be the best thing for both. Both.
You know, Dan, I like the name. The name excites me because I know how good he was, and I know how productive he was, and I know the fact that he is still relatively a young football player. Sometimes you get these names, and I'm gonna bring back, because this I hate to go memory lane, but over the years, I mean, the Eagles picked up Roy Green when he was no longer Roy Green, and they picked up Art Monk beyond the time he was really Art Monk, and they picked up James Lofton when he was not the James Hall of Fame Lofton that he later became. So I think we tend to get excited about names, but when you pick up somebody like picks up someone like Devin, who's what, 26 years old?
26
years old. That should be the prime of his career. And assuming that he is healthy, and I'm sure they've had him take medicals, I think that could work out just fine. And I haven't given up on the Kobe Dean either. He's had injuries so far, but you know, sometimes those injuries stop and the player goes on to a productive career. Sometimes those injuries continue, and Buddy used to say durability is as important as ability. And there have been players who were great players and then suddenly were injured for the rest of their careers and ended up with a disappointing productivity behind them. So I want to wait and see, but I do know that if he plays like the player who we saw early at Tampa Bay, he's a special player.
Just my favorite line of all time will always be, just ask the guy in France. I'm going to ask you one last guy. Ask the guy in France.
That was my second favorite, Buddy. My first favorite, Buddy, was they had a offensive lineman, Ken Reeves. And I came to practice one day and there was no Ken Reeves. And he was supposed to be back at practice. And I said, "Where's Ken Reeves, Buddy?" He said, "I traded him to Cleveland." I said, why'd you trade him? He said, "He's always hurt." I said, "Buddy," and you could talk to Buddy. You could challenge him if he liked you, and he did like me. I said, "Last year, he had appendicitis. This year, he had a high ankle sprain. They're not related." Buddy said, "If you have a cow and the cow has a calf and the calf runs out over the barbed wire fence and gets struck dead by a 12-wheeler, and that cow has another calf, and that calf comes out into the meadow some stormy night and gets struck dead by lightning, you shoot the blankety-blank cow." That was my favorite Buddy of all time.
Oh, my God. He has to be the most colorful coach in the history of the Eagles.
Yes.
Him and Vermeil those two guys have to be the most colorful coaches in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles during your time.
I don't think Dick was colorful. What he was, and he's my favorite coach. He's my favorite coach of all time. And we remain friends to this day. You know, I'll call him after a game and say, "What did you think, Coach?" And he's just wonderful. And looks great. But what Dick was, you get a dictionary, Dan, and go to the C's and look up under the word, look at the word charismatic. And there's a great big picture of Dick Vermeil. He's charismatic. He takes over the room. He gets every pair of eyes focused. You could hear a pin drop. He is one of the greatest communicators I have ever been around. Now, Buddy was a hoot. He was colorful. He was very, very colorful. But Dick Vermeil, charismatic. That's the word for Dick Vermeil.
Can I give you a quick Dick Vermeil story about the Rose Bowl?
Sure.
So Randy Cross played for him in that Rose Bowl that beat Ohio State before he went to the 49ers, and Dick came to the Eagles. And they're getting ready, and there were two-a-days during the Rose Bowl, and I think the guy Harmon, the actor kid, and the father won the Heisman. I think they all went to Dick Vermeulen said, "Coach, we can't."
No, it was John Shira was the quarterback.
John Shira, that's right. John Shira was the quarterback, and they all went to him. And Randy told me, we went, "Coach, 2-a-days during the Rose Bowl, everyone else is having." He goes, and Dick Vermeulen, he goes like this: "I don't care what you guys." He goes, he told those guys, "We're having 2-a-days, and I don't care." And then I heard the story when he got to Philly, he did the same stuff. He ran those guys into the turf at the vet in the way he practiced.
Because there wasn't enough time for 3-a-days. he reenacted the Baton Death March.
Dude, I heard he was just maybe the most brutal coach when it came to practice.
But
and
you know what? Today we have practices. Dick comes out to practice once or twice a summer and walks away shaking his head. There's very little hitting. You know that they're regulated by the player agreements as to how often they can wear pads, and after every 3 days there's a day off. This makes Dick physically ill. But the fact of the matter is, it's a different NFL. You come to camp and your number is 90. Dick used to come to camp with 120 players.
Wow.
And every team did 100, and they could come in with 120. That's 30 more bodies. You had camp bodies. 130, 120 players would come to camp.
That's great. Final question for you, Merill. With all the moves and all the new faces, like in even the coordinator changes, do you concern yourself about cohesiveness and continuity and how important this offseason is going to be, that they have to make it a priority here, Merill? Because to me, OTAs, the mini camps, and even Keith Byers, who was on with me the other day, to play winning formula football, everyone's got to be on the same page, and the offseason is where that happens. You think they really look at this as a major priority with all these new faces?
Oh, I think they have to. Not just because of the new faces, but because of the way that last season ingloriously ended with 6 losses in the last 7 games. That was absolutely horrible. You don't want anything near that. You want the team that was 10-1, not the team that fell down the laundry chute at the end and went embarrassingly down against the Giants in game 17, and then terrible performance against the Bucs. So you don't want any remnants of that whatsoever. So yes, the offseason is pretty darn important for probably 31 teams. You know, there's pressure on 31 teams right now to improve, to get better. And the pressure is certainly here, but I'm very encouraged. I haven't met Kellen Moore yet, but I can't wait to meet him because I have admired him from afar since he began. Well, I liked him as a quarterback at Boise State, but I have admired what he did with Dak Prescott. I think had there not been an injury, he would have done more with Justin Herbert. But I can't wait to meet him because I think the Kellen Moore Jalen Hurts combination is going to produce wonderful things.
You know, I'll leave you with this. In the offseason, like you said, it's time to get better, and it's a priority to improve your game. Have you improved your golf game here in this offseason here? Are you hitting them straight? And how's the scoring going?
Well, I haven't played enough because it's a little nippy. Today it's like 48. If it's I'm going to get my 50 rounds in before training camp. I'm going to get a lot of rounds in. I did play one day last week. It was 73. Outside, it was beautiful. My score was quite a bit higher than the temperature. But when I can play 3-4 times a week, I will be very, very respectable. I'm not going on the Champions Tour anytime soon, but I will turn in a nice scorecard.
Okay, so is it the drive? Is it the iron play? Is it the short irons?
No.
Is it the putting, or is it the bunker? What separates Merill Reese from Mike Quick on a golf course?
Well, the distance. I can hit it just as straight as Mike Quick, except I can also hear it land.
I'm getting Mike on in a couple days, man. He's on vacation right now.
He's always on vacation.
Merill, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you again, man. I really love talking with you.
Take care.
You got it. Our good friend, Merill Reese. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you very much. You know, I subtly throw a couple political conversations into my show. Not to go nuts here, but I don't get where people are with this Aaron Rodgers story that CNN threw out there about him and then making a story. Mina Kimes from ESPN running with it like it was truth. And Rodgers addressed it on his Twitter page where he's like, I never said anything such that those kids, it was staged slaughtering in Newtown. Now, here's why I bring it up, and it's important to me. Because the man who had to tell the parents that their children were gone was my priest of 45 years and married me and my wife. Monsignor Robert Weiss was the man that had to tell those families. So that story kind of matters to me. And I talked to him. He says, how can anybody bring up anything like that to make a conversation, whether it's true or not, Just leave it alone. Let those kids lie in peace with God. It's true. Why would you do anything like that with a story that's not true? Father Bob and other people and the tormented families in Newtown don't deserve that. They just don't deserve it. And ESPN and Disney have no problem throwing a story like that out there. Have no problem. Yet they'll take Aaron Rodgers off Pat McAfee because he makes a comment about COVID-19. And they're cool with that. That to me just shows you injustice and how things are covered. And by the way, whatever side you believe in, you should be fair in your coverage, especially with something that dangerous, catastrophic, nightmarish, hurtful to our country, those children. And plus, it's in my home state of Connecticut. It matters. That whole thing matters to me, that story. My dad lived in Newtown. And it's just a couple towns over from Stanford. It's not that far from us. My aunt, too, who lives in New Canaan. Let those kids and the families, leave them alone, man. Just doesn't make sense. Why would she lie? Why wouldn't she lie for a job? She has no notes, no audio tapes, nothing. She just said, hey, he said it. How do you know you're not mistaken? No, I'm not mistaken. Really? You have no proof to that. Yeah. I don't really either. But a story like that, when the priest was and still my priest to this day, now he's retired. But I posted a picture of me and my wife and Father Bob when he blessed my wedding in Trumbull. I mean, that story matters to me. Okay? It does. Not so much about Rodgers even. But fair coverage, and leave those kids alone, man. Doesn't make sense. You talk about, hey, you guys accuse me of clicks and shit. That, man, I think that's disgusting. That's just big Sills. Sills, what's your next move? For what? My next move. Dinner later? I don't know. Hey, I don't have a plan, dog. Okay? I don't have a fan. Close to home. That's right, Yale. All that stuff that goes on up there in Connecticut like that, it's close to home to me. I love where I was raised. I love where I was raised. I wouldn't want to be raised anywhere else. I wouldn't want to go to any other high school. I wouldn't want to have played sports in Gary Cobb played in the same place I played. He played in the same place I did. And he got to USC. A guy like Gary Cobb was somebody, and I've told you guys this before, Gary Cobb was somebody like I looked up to in the entire Cobb family in Connecticut and Stanford. And I went, well, if he can go to Southern Cal, I'm going to go to big college. Him and Dwight Bingham and all these guys who played with the Steelers and some of these other dudes that went to Stanford High School. I went to Catholic High. Okay. Do you like UConn sports? Not necessarily. Oh, I love hoop. I'm friends with Jim Calhoun. Jim Calhoun's a friend of mine. Okay. I love what they did in stores. The football program, I think Mora Jr. is the coach right now. If I'm not mistaken, at UConn. They got a long way to go in rebuilding that. When I was in high school, it was Yankee Conference. And it was kind of smaller. So when they came and recruited me, they played like UMass, like Pace and shit like that. And I was like, man, I don't think so. You know, I mean, so it wasn't really a big-time school. If you really were going to play big-time college football in Connecticut, you went to Yale, really. Okay? GCU basketball. Great seating, too. That's Dede School. Absolutely. GCU, baby. That's right. Drew's the head coach. Father Bob Sills. Yeah, Monsignor Robert Weiss. We used to call him Father Bob at Catholic High. He was so cool. Father Bob, get this. He was such a great priest. He got moved out of our school because the Monsignor at the time, and then a cardinal, it may have been the guy in New York, got upset because he ran a marathon, like a marathon dance thing, and he danced with some of the students, and they thought it was unbecoming of a priest, and they moved him out of Catholic High because Father Bob's a good-looking guy when he was younger. And they thought, and it never was that. And Father Bob went on to become Monsignor and one of the greatest priests I've ever been around. I'm grateful he's my priest for all my life almost. Yeah, actually, since like 1977 or 79, he's been my priest, personal priest, and my family's priest. And then, of course, like I said, he was in that unfortunate situation in Newtown. So it kind of mattered. Is Connecticut still quiet? Hey, look, dude, you think Connecticut's quiet when I lived there? Right? You think it's quiet when I lived there? Hey, real quick on what happens and what I would do if I was Caleb Williams in Chicago. You got to decide. I think Jaden Daniels is the guy. I don't think Caleb Williams. Let me ask you one thing here. Who had more hype coming out of college? Caleb Williams or Bryce Young? Who had more hype? Who had more hype? I think Bryce Young was better in college than Caleb Williams. Okay? Well, why would I sit here and think that Bryce Young is going to have a better career or Caleb Williams is going to have a better career than Bryce Young? Caleb Williams, he never beat anybody, William. Who'd he beat? Never went to a conference championship game. He never did anything. Lost to teams. He didn't beat any significant teams whatsoever. Bryce Young, I mean, Heisman Trophy winner, played with numerous number one guys, won a Southeastern Conference championship. I mean, I don't know, man. I saw that guy win significant football games, and he was more hyped. And yet I'm going to sit here and go like this. Well, Caleb Williams didn't have the career, and they're kind of the same dude. Okay? They're kind of the same guy. Caleb's a stud. He wasn't a stud against good teams. I'm with you, senor. I think the dude is Jaden Daniels. And can I tell you why? He reminds me of Jalen Hurts. So he starts his career with Herm Edwards at Arizona State. He wants to be able to be a starter, and he wants to be able to do great things. Now, the situation was different. Jaden didn't lose his job at Arizona State. Herm did. So he had to adjust, and he upgraded by going to LSU. So he goes to LSU, and Brian Kelly and the great coaching and the players, those two wide receivers they have, helped him a lot. There's no doubt about it. And I like the stuff that they're battle tested. Now, I know that Caleb transferred from OU. I get that. Same coach, same result. What did Lincoln Riley ever win at OU? Nothing. Talk about an overrated coach. It's him. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming aboard. Thank you again, Merill Reese, Gary Cobb, for coming aboard. You guys were absolutely awesome. Please hit the like button. To the Krauses, thank you. We will see you tomorrow, 2 to 6, and we'll catch you.